There's only one Oklahoma.
College Football Saturday presented by Ford. A gorgeous early autumn evening as the top-ranked Oklahoma Sooners attempt to run their home winning streak to 39 consecutive games as they take on the Ball State Cardinals. And good evening. Welcome to Norman. Chuck Cooperstein along with Dean Blevins, and the Sooners coming in 3-0, ranked number 1 in the country. But Dean, last week against Missouri, a lot of Oklahoma players, especially on the defense, didn't feel like they played like a number 1 team.
Well, you know, they did in that win against Florida State on the second game of the season. They were terrific. They had a letdown emotionally, and assignment-wise, they didn't play well either. Travis Lewis, the most outspoken of the Sooners. I expect that they will bounce back tonight, certainly with Texas coming up next week.
Tom Ward and Ronell Lewis, part of what has been an outstanding Oklahoma defense that got licked by Missouri to the tune of 532 yards. But conversely, Dean, on the offensive side of the ball, there were no such issues, and it becomes pretty easy when you have Ryan Broyles and Landry Jones pitching and catching for you.
That's a dynamic duo, and they'll have a third tonight. Kenny Stills, who is a deep threat, is terrific. But these two guys are on pace to set many records. Ryan Broyles has a chance to set an NCAA record tonight for most receptions. Landry Jones, red hot in the Heisman race, and Oklahoma, with those guys hot, has a chance, especially when they establish a running game, which they will look to do tonight.
Well, you also mentioned Kenny Stills, and he didn't play last week because of the concussion. He's back, and really, we've not seen the best of the Oklahoma passing game yet because Broyles and Stills haven't been on the field very much together.
Well, and they have another receiver out tonight, so everyone is not here, but Stills is a special player, and I think having both him and Broyles will give a little added dimension. And the running game, again, I think will complement it, especially the way Dominique Whaley has started off.
You know, this game on the surface, you look at Ball State, their record's pretty good, but I think everybody's kind of looking at this as kind of a dotting I's and crossing T's kind of game to get ready for next week against Texas. But really, in the case of Oklahoma, they can't look at it quite like that. There's got to be some intensity that goes with this.
Absolutely. I mean, the practices they had this week were as intense as any they've had all spring, all summer, all fall. And going into the Texas week, I mean, you talk about big games, and going into the Texas game, you can't put two poor performances back to back.
Let's head down to the field as the Sooners get ready to hit the field. And the third member of our crew is Kelly Kroll.
Dominique Whaley earlier, and what a tremendous story. A local kid, and the Sooner fans just can't get enough of this guy. He's already racked up nearly 300 yards rushing in the first 3 games. Coach Stoops has been so impressed. He actually went to OU's strength and conditioning coach last week and asked to compare his testing numbers with some of the other OU great running backs, and check it out. A 4.4 flat 40 guy. He's an 11-foot broad jumper, and you also saw there that he has a huge vertical jump. So a very powerful guy, as Coach Stoops put it, and even Coach Heupel went on to say he has an endless work ethic, and that work obviously reaping rewards, guys.
Dominique Whaley is a tremendous story for Oklahoma, coming out of Langston as a walk-on, 3 years now as a walk-on, and tonight he makes his first ever start for the Sooners, and a guy that every Oklahoma fan has just been astounded by, Dean, with the way that he's played the first 3 weeks.
You know, I went back and looked at all of the plays from each of the 3 games, and if you break them down, he's not had a busted assignment. He has had wonderful catches. He's shown the strength. He's shown the speed that Kelly talked about. It's been a remarkable story. It really has, because they have great backs on campus, and he's the first team.
The Sooners have hit the field, and we are getting ready for number 1 Oklahoma against the Ball State Cardinals. 3-1 on the season are the Cardinals, coming off the victory over Army last week. It's coming up next from Norman. Oklahoma Sooner football is brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. Ford F-Series, the best in Oklahoma. By Oklahoma Natural Gas. Get a $30 rebate for having your natural gas heating system checked. Go to oklahomanaturalgas.com/rebates. By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. By Arvis Bank, the perfect bank for your changing world. And by One Oak, the one in energy. Getting set for top-ranked Oklahoma against Ball State, as the Sooners with that 38-game home winning streak that, I guess, Dean, ironically enough, if they had beaten TCU to begin the 2005 season, they would be going tonight to try to break the all-time NCAA record that was set by Miami back from 1985 through 1994.
Well, it's a remarkable run, almost as remarkable as the fact that Stoops here has only lost 2 games at home since he's been here, and of course this is his 13th season. Oklahoma has a tendency to get opponents down. The crowd gets into it, and with their up-tempo offense, it's kind of a frenzied atmosphere, and most teams are out before they get into the second quarter.
There you're going to look at those list of long home winning streaks, and indeed Oklahoma, in winning 38 straight, has outscored their opponent on average by nearly 30 points, 44.2 to 14.8. We are set to go, and Oklahoma will receive. Ball State will kick. And we are glad you're with us on a glorious evening here in Norman, Oklahoma, as the calendar turns to October. Onside kick to begin the game, and a loose ball still fought for as it goes the necessary 10. And a wild scramble as they try to get everybody off, and Ball State looks like they've recovered. What a way to begin the game, and Ball State head coach Pete Lembo going all out to begin things. It could not have been executed more beautifully than it was for Ball State.
I don't remember a team doing that since Stoops has been here, and why not? You're a 38-point underdog.
The ball at the Ball State 46-yard line. Keith Wenning is the Ball State quarterback, a sophomore out of Coldwater, Ohio. Out of the gun and looking right. And a comeback route is caught at the 45-yard line for a gain of 8 on the play. As Keith Wenning, for his career, 61%. This year, completing passes at better than 73%. And has not been intercepted this season in 131 attempts. Second down and a long one from the OU 45. And a rare trip under center for the Ball State quarterback. And the handoff to Barrington Scott. He's sophomore out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, and looks like he's a little short of the first down marker. Here's the rest of the Ball State offense. There's your offensive line. Craig Hunter, the center, has been in a boot all week. Didn't practice, but playing tonight. Barrington Scott gets the start. And you'll see Ball State in a lot of spread sets throughout the night, but here they come in tight on third and short.
For a team to onside kick, why not a play action and go deep?
OU walks the 5th man up in Jefferson. Wenning with the long count. And the give. And they're not going to get it. Great penetration by the right side of the Oklahoma defense. Ronell Lewis along with Corey Nelson leading the way. Corey Nelson wearing the number 12 tonight in honor of the memory of Austin Box. And there's the Oklahoma defense.
2 terrific defensive ends there in Lewis and Alexander. Alexander having a marvelous start to the season, and all Lewis is projected as a top 15 pick. He's only a junior. Terrific play by him.
Sam Proctor getting the start tonight at safety. Aaron Colvin out, and here comes the punt by Gavolda, and it's Ryan Broyles at the 11, and he runs out of bounds after the short return. And Oklahoma will begin from its 14-yard line, a 35-yard punt and a 3-yard return. So OU will begin from its 15-yard line. Its offense so far this season, the first 3 games, averaging 36 points a game, led by Landry Jones, the junior out of Artesia, New Mexico. Sooners all-time leader in passing yards, and last week passed Sam Bradford with his 15th career 300-yard game. Threw for 448 in the win against Missouri. Snap back, swing it right, and in the flat, Dominic Whaley upended at the 25-yard line, right at the first down marker. And injury for Ball State. That's Armand Dehaney, the quarterback, who got the shoulder down a little too low, and Whaley went over the top. And the officials say move the sticks. It is a first down for Oklahoma, but again, right now, the attention is on Haney, but Dominic Whaley, there you go, Dean, first play out of the box, making his presence felt.
Well, he has wonderful hands, and he's had a couple of times this season where he's had the ball come to his hands as soon as he's been hit. As soon as he has touched the ball, he's been hit. He's done a great job of protecting the football. He has been just wonderful all the way around. And how about the injury?
It looks like he took a knee right in the head. Wow. And Whaley himself pretty fortunate that he was able to get up and getting a chance to see that. He landed on top of his noggin too.
You know, we saw some of the numbers there a moment ago, the 4.4, the 40.5. They didn't give him a half inch that he actually has on the vertical. It's 40.5. That's pretty remarkable, Chuck. I was comparing some of his numbers, his measurables in the 40, in the broad jump, in the vertical to some of the NFL guys in the combine, and his are very favorable.
And as Ball State continues to attend to Armand Haney, we will take a quick timeout. 2.5 minutes into the game. Armand Haney helped to the sideline with the assistance of the Ball State training staff after he took that knee to the head on the first play from scrimmage for Oklahoma. Sooners gaining 10 and the first down as they will start up again from their 26. The Oklahoma offensive line, of course, the story, Gabe Eichard moving to the center spot to replace the injured Ben Haburn. And that very prolific receiving core and running core as well. As Jones awaits the snap, Whaley on his left, and the handoff. And breaks one tackle across the 30 for a gain of 7 to the 32-yard line.
You mentioned up front that is a key position to keep an eye on because Ben Haburn is just a terrific center. He'll be gone at least 4 weeks when he might be able to come back and play guard. He can't snap because it's a right forearm he broke. Could be out as much as 8 weeks. Eichard starting.
Pistol formation this time for OU. And Whaley again, he's cracked. Big time hit by Joshua Howard, the free safety. We don't see many form tackles anymore in college football, but Dean, that was one of them.
Boy, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
So Whaley.
Someone threw a no-hitter. I don't think he got much help from Jazz Reynolds on the outside on that one.
Oklahoma on 3rd down and 2. Here's Jones. Swings it left. Whaley's open. Nice catch across the 40 and pushed out of bounds. And a first down at the Oklahoma 43-yard line after a gain of 8. Take a look at the Ball State defense. It's a 4-3 set. Nathan Ollie, the best of the lot there. As Oklahoma goes quickly in a rollout right by Jones. Jazz Reynolds at the sideline with the catch. And out of bounds at the 44-yard line of Ball State for a gain of 13 on the play and another OU first down. And this was going to be one of the questions, Dean. Could OU, especially with Haburn out of the lineup, could they play as fast as they want to play offensively and get the ball snapped quickly? They did on that last play. All day for Jones, all day, and going to the post for Reynolds, incomplete. Pretty good coverage on the part of Jeffrey Garrett, the quarterback, but boy, what protection by the Oklahoma offensive line.
Yeah, it really was. It was helped because they had established the Whaley game up the middle. This is a ball that you really want your receiver to be strong and go up and get, and Jazz Reynolds has developed into a more mature receiver. That's just a great defensive play.
2nd down and 10 at the Ball State 43. Jones's first incompletion. Now we'll throw to the hash block, and that's caught. Kenny Stills' first catch of the night, first down, and a gain of 12 on the play. Coming off that 7-catch, 125-yard gain at Florida State in week 2. Quick run to the left for Whaley. and pushes ahead to the 26-yard line for a 5-yard game. And Oklahoma with some good pace here on that first drive.
Oklahoma does a good job. They have so far this season. They have their linemen are very mobile and getting outside, whether it's a stretch play or a quick toss. They've been averaging over 8 yards a play.
Another quick snap. They try to blitz. It's picked up. Wide open. Stills inside the 10 and slung to the ground at the 6-yard line. First and goal for Oklahoma.
Stills was wide open on that. I don't think that when he turned around, I think he was a little surprised. You see him around the 15-yard line. No one within 7 yards. Good throw and catch.
Easy pitch and catch so far for Oklahoma. Only miss for Jones coming on the attempt at the big hitter in the end zone. And the fake to Whaley and wide open in the end zone. Touchdown, James Hanna. Well, you can't do it much better than that.
No, that's the start they're looking for after the onside kick worked. But I guess after that play, it's been perfect. You stop them, get it back, and take it all the way. But you do establish your running game up front, and all of a sudden, Ball State's looking for that. They gamble, and the tight end is wide open. There you see Howard, who bid on that, the safety.
James Hanna has had 19 catches in his career, and 8 of them have gone for touchdowns. James Hanna, the touchdown maker. Michael Honeycutt for the extra point. And Oklahoma marching right down the field to start this game. 10 plays, 90 yards. The touchdown pass, Jones to Hanna, and the Sooners up 7.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. Oklahoma already up 7-0, and on the sidelines with me tonight, a very, very special guest, Roy Williams, in the house. And you know, the Sooners already getting off to a quick start. We heard Dean mention earlier, establish the run game, but before they even had a chance to do that, Ball State hits an onside kick.
Yes, they did. I mean, if they see it, the front line, they took off running without watching the without watching the ball being kicked, and you know, they kicked the ball and look, they knocked the guy out the way and they recovered the ball. You know, the first rule of thumb is you have to watch the ball being kicked off the tee, and they didn't. So
it didn't take long, though, however, for the Sooners to get on the board, march it right down the field, and just talk about the first score.
Yeah. So I mean, nobody even covered him. He was wide open. I mean, it was easy touchdown for Oklahoma.
And right before him, Kenny Stills, very open. I mean, what is it that the defense doesn't see yet from the Sooners?
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a great job. I mean, they're being very good. Josh Allen's calling a great game.
All right, guys, and now we'll see Oklahoma's defense. Take it away.
Kickoff by Patrick O'Hara. Briggs Orsborn runs it back to the 19-yard line, and that is where Ball State will take over.
Ronell Lewis, 56, terrific job on the special teams, especially on kickoff coverage. Keep an eye on 56 and 33. There you see Landry Jones on the sideline after 1-for-1 touchdown drive.
The Oklahoma scoring job presented by Ford. 85 yards in 10 plays. Nice mix of the Whaley running and the Landry Jones passing, as Wenning will work from the shotgun. And he'll ride the handoff. Juwan Edwards, true freshman out of Matthews, North Carolina, the leading rusher for Ball State, able to get it on up to the 25-yard line. Ball State, like so many teams in college football, don't like to huddle. Call everything up the line of scrimmage. They usually spread, but this time they're in 2 tight ends. And movement along the left side of the line. Dan Manick, the left tackle.
Ball start, offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty, second down.
A little different setup than what people have seen for years from Oklahoma defensively. It's only one defensive tackle in the ball game. Casey Walker, probably the best when he's healthy. He is over the nose, and then you have 2 defensive ends actually down in 4-point stance, lined up outside the tackles.
Second down and 11. And Wenning rolling. And they're not going to get much on that one as the Sooners' pursuit of the football and maybe a gain of a yard on the play. David Schneider, the tight end, on the reception. And Roy, that's the type of pursuit you want to see from the Oklahoma defense.
Yes, sir, most definitely. You want to see everybody pursuing and flying to the ball. Not one person's making a tackle, it's at least 4 or 5 players making a tackle, and that's what you want to see.
First up on the scene, Tom Ward, the middle linebacker. Ball State's been good on third down this season, 49% conversion rate, but it's 3rd and long here. 3rd down and 9 from the 21. Wenning with time, and that's incomplete. Intended for Willie Snead, and it'll be 4th down. They had position there, the inside position with the wide receiver team, couldn't get it done.
Fleming does a good job as a shutdown corner. He was in pretty good position, but that could have been a completion. Good coverage. Could have been a completion.
Scott Cavanda will punt, and Ryan Broyles awaits it at the OU 38.
You know, Broyles has such soft hands. As soon as I say this, he'll fumble it, but it's like it's never even a consideration of whether he'll catch a punt or not.
Lovely kick. Back to the 22-yard line, and a pirouette by Broyles. Spins out of one tackle and then lost the ball. And Ball State pointing as if they have it. And the officials will try to unpile everyone. A 60-yard kick by Cavanda. See Josh Howard on the bottom of the pile for Ball State with Broyles. And it is Ball State football.
I know all head coaches hate turnovers. Bob Stoops hates them as much as any head coach I've ever been around, and the onside kick successfully going Ball State's way is the same as a turnover, and now turning it over at the 25-yard line. There you see a strip. You just got to put it away. I told you, I bragged on him. He went ahead and caught it, but then he fumbled.
Low snap to Wenning, and he'll hand it off to Barrington Scott up the middle for a couple of yards inside the 25-yard line. Down to the 23 after a gain of 3. Coming down on 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. Oklahoma, when they've had the football, they've been fine, but they have fumbled a punt, had an onside kick performed against them, and Ball State now with a chance to get this game tied up. Wenning, pass behind his intended receiver, but caught inside the 20-yard line. It's a pretty good adjustment on the play by Connor Ryan. And it'll set up a 3rd down and about a yard.
Nice job by Ball State here as Brent Venables brings the pressure.
Fleming and Harris on that last tackle for Oklahoma. Ball State 0-2 on 3rd down. Missed on 3rd and 1 on that first series following the recovered onside kick. Wenning will throw it short, incomplete. And Corey Nelson right on the scene to knock that one away.
Boy, it really was. I don't know. I don't even know that if he caught the ball, it would have been a 1st down. Let's take a look. Pressure comes. Great job defensively. Corey Nelson is a player that Bob Stoops just goes on and on. He raves about Corey Nelson's ability to do things just like that, feel his way around the football field.
Stevens shot for the field goal from 34 yards. And Ball State takes the turnover and turns it in to 3 points. Stevens shot. Hasn't had any long-range field goals, but he hits that 34-yarder there. Oklahoma, 4-point lead. The OU soccer team hosts Texas Tech tomorrow at 1 p.m. at the OU Soccer Complex. The first 250 fans will receive a Sooners soccer scarf. To order tickets, visit Soonersports.com. 6:59 to play in the first quarter here in Norman, with Oklahoma leading Ball State 7-3 as the Cardinals are able to turn the Ryan Broyles fumbled punt into a field goal. But good 3rd down defense, Dean, by Oklahoma especially, as far as it being a short third down, not like 3rd and 9. These were 3rd and 1s they were able to stop.
Well, and Ball State now goes 18 for 18 in the red zone. The defense has played well, but well, when you give it to Ball State after an onside kick at midfield and then where they coughed it up there, that's tough on our defense.
You see the forward scoring drive, 4 plays, 9 yards following the fumble, and here is the kickoff, a spinner that will be picked up by Jackson. Gets it across the 25 and put down. You know, and just back to the Ball State point about the red zone scoring, most of their scoring's been touchdowns, 13 touchdowns now in the 18 attempts, and really that's kind of what you're looking for. The red zone scoring is great, but those coaches are looking for touchdowns. They're not looking for field goals. And
Absolutely.
And Pete Lembo was certainly looking for a touchdown out of that turnover. Joshua Howard is the injured Ball State player, and that's the second member of the secondary who's gone down here in the first quarter, with Armand Dehaney having gone down on the Sooners' first play from scrimmage when he took a knee to the head from Dominique Whaley.
And Howard's a 3-year letterman, so he's another guy who has a lot of experience back there.
And already with impact in the game, had that terrific hit on Whaley as well. And Kyle Hoke is going to check in the game, and he's an interesting story. He is the son of Michigan head coach Brady Hoke, the nephew of John Hoke, who happens to be one of Bob Stoops' best friends in the whole world.
Right. And of course, Brady Hoke, now the head coach at Michigan, was the former head coach here at Ball State.
Indeed, back in 2008, they had a 12-0 start to the season before losing the last 2 games.
Stan Parrish jumped in the fray.
And it didn't work out too well for old Stan, and that's why Pete Lembo is now the head coach of the Cardinals, having had terrific success on the FCS level at both Lehigh in Pennsylvania and Elon in North Carolina, where he was the last 5 years. Brennan Clay, the running back, on this possession for Oklahoma, and he gets the handoff from Jones. And
Brennan Clay, pardon me, Chuck, he is really a classy young man, and he's been disappointed with his play. It's not that he's not played well. In comparison to Whaley, he hasn't played that well, and so he is determined to pick up his level of play.
Here's a quick one out to DeJuan Miller, who is slung to the ground, lost the ball, but with his knee on the ground, the ball will stay at the OU 35-yard line. Jeffrey Garrett on the tackle for Ball State.
It will be a loud halftime, I can tell you. Already with 3 balls on the ground. Now this one after the whistle, but nonetheless. Ball security has been something that Oklahoma, since Stoops has been here, they've been remarkable in protecting the football.
3rd down and 3. Blitz off the corner. And a nice grab. Stills on the crossing route at the 45-yard line, and that's a first down for Oklahoma. Sean Baker, the safety, coming up to make the tackle after a gain of 11.
Those guys, as you say, pitch and catch, they do it so well. If the offensive line does what it did, they can do that all night.
Jones again, and there's another leaping catch by Stills to the 39-yard line. Andre Dawson on the tackle, but Kenny Stills is having it pretty much his own way. His 4th catch of the night, this one for 14 yards. And quickly to the line of scrimmage they come. Bootleg to the right. Jones on the move. There's Broyles inside the 30. And down on the 28-yard line, another OU first down.
Great rhythm right now. Ball State's not seen anything like this. They saw an offense sort of like this in Kevin Wilson at Indiana, but they beat them, and Kevin probably did a lot of 3 and out.
Jones looking over to the side for the call, as all the receivers do as well. Fake it to Clay. All day again. And this one is incomplete. Stills fell at the 11-yard line, but he was wide open again. Boy, the pass protection is fantastic, Dean, and the route running so far by the wide receivers has been superb, too.
That had to be tipped. It may have just flown, but I think it was tipped. Now, right there, Kenny Stills is now just 31 yards away from 1,000 for his short career. And if he does so here tonight, he's going to break Ryan Broyles' record for fastest to 1,000.
2nd down and 10 for Oklahoma. Jones quickly out to the left, and Broyles is met immediately. Andre Dawson right there, right now. And he put him on the ground. And actually an incomplete pass, that ball on the ground. What a perfect hit by Dawson.
Sure looked like Stills was running free down the boundary.
Oklahoma facing 3rd and 10. A little over 5 minutes to play in the first quarter, leading 7-3. As Jones taking his time, looking it over, 3 seconds to snap it. 2 and 1. Here we go with Jones to throw. And now flushed out. They don't have to throw it away, as it didn't come together the way Oklahoma had hoped it would. Christopher Callaway, the safety, coming in and forcing Jones out of the pocket.
Okay, Oklahoma's going to do something they normally don't do, and that's try a field goal beyond 40 yards. They just haven't done it much. Jimmy Stevens has been a remarkable kicker from shorter distance. He has a quad injury. In now is Michael Honeycutt. He has a bigger leg, so we'll see what happens here from, what is it, Chuck, 44?
The former soccer player from Pierce High School in Richardson, Texas.
His second game.
In a 27-yarder the first week against Tulsa, and he's got plenty of distance on this one. And what do they say? Class A players get Class A bounces.
Tell you what, plenty of leg there, as you mentioned. That ball hit pretty high on the crossbar.
So Oklahoma 2 possessions, and they've scored on both of them. Honeycutt, a 44-yard field goal to give the Sooners a 10-3 lead with 4:52 remaining in the first quarter. A 9-play, 72-yard drive.
This may sound silly, but I'm telling you, there are a lot of Oklahoma fans now very happy about seeing that. That's 44 yards. You almost hit the top of the upright, and this is a weapon that they just have not had, frankly.
Jimmy Stevens out with the thigh injury. Honeycutt got the kick last week and a 26-yarder in the victory against Missouri. The 27-yarders we mentioned against Tulsa.
Bob Stoops, we asked at his press conference what he would do if Honeycutt had a good night, and he said, we'll see. And generally when he says we'll see, that means if you make field goals and extra points, you just keep doing it.
Well, if nothing else, the coach wants options.
That's right.
And
he has them. Jimmy Stevens has knocked through. I mean, he's a candidate for the Grosso.
Patrick O'Hara will kick off for Oklahoma, leading 10-3. 2 impressive drives for the Sooners offensively to start the game, and here is the O'Hara kick. Orsman at the goal line. And back out to the 25-yard line as we go downstairs. Kelly Cole with OU women's basketball coach Sherry Cole.
That's right. Sherry Cole made it out on a beautiful evening tonight to watch the Sooners play. And I want to talk a little bit about your team now. A young team, only a couple seniors and juniors. But what have you seen so far in the summer and fall that you like?
Well, 8 of our 13 are underclassmen, 4 new freshmen, and of course our sophomore class got some good experience last year. These freshmen have really blown me away, though. I've been incredibly impressed, and I don't think I'm real easy to impress early on. They've really worked hard, and they've improved a lot, and I think they're going to make an impact.
Well, we talk about them on the court, but off the court, your entire team very involved in the community, not only locally, but outside of the U.S. even.
Yeah, we've got a great culture of service, and really players from previous years have passed that on down to our current players. And for the last 2 years, our team has gone on a mission trip to Haiti, headed by assistant coach Jan Ross, and they've really grown as a result of it. Obviously, their eyes are bigger and the world is wider as a result, and they love it, and we're going to go back again this spring.
What a cool experience. And now, coming into this season, I know a Sooner favorite, Danielle Robinson, won't be with the team anymore, but certainly room for some other players to step up this season.
Right. D-Rob ran our show for 4 years and did a great job at San Antonio this year. Made the all-rookie team. She's in Italy playing with the national team right now. Going to Israel after that, so she's just continuing to wow people at every level. And we will miss her greatly, but we've got young guys who will step in, and they're learning quickly, and they won't do it exactly as D-Rob did it, but they'll do it effectively nonetheless, and I'm excited about watching them grow.
And the season quickly approaching. Thank you so much for being with us, Sherry.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Guys, back to you.
All right, Kelly, thanks very much. 3rd down for Ball State. and 7 from the 28-yard line. As the Cardinals spread it out, 3-man rush for OU, and a swing pass out to the left. And it is caught and run out toward the 35-yard line, right at the first down marker. Juwan Edwards with a nice catch and run. And that is going to be good enough for a Ball State first down.
Perfect play call with the coming off the edge was the cornerback Fleming. Sooners couldn't get there in time to make it a 4th down, but anyway, they came off the corner, and that was a perfect play at that on that occasion.
A nice little stutter step move by Edwards against Travis Lewis that got him the little extra space that he needed for the first down. And here's the handoff, riding it across the line is Edwards, and he gets himself out to the 39-yard line for a gain of 3. Join head coach Sherry Cole and the Oklahoma women's basketball team at the season ticket holder scrimmage on Thursday, October 27th at 6 p.m. Free admission for all fans. Don't miss this opportunity to see your team in action before the season begins. For more information, visit Soonersports.com. 2nd down and 7 for Ball State. Coming down on 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. Oklahoma a 10-3 lead. And the handoff and a little one-step cutback, and Edwards is met right away. Ronell Lewis right on the spot for Oklahoma, along with Stacey McGee, the junior from Muskogee.
Ronell Lewis is just a remarkably gifted player, and Stacey McGee is probably the best of the down linemen. He's not been out as much. He hasn't gotten as many snaps as he would like this year, but he's a tremendous athlete, as is this cat right here.
3rd down and 8 for Ball State. Officially a loss of 1 on the last play. Running back to throw. And a quick swing out to the right. Nice cut by Edwards at the 45. And run down from behind by Lewis right at the first down marker. And an injury.
Down.
Oklahoma player down. And it's Jamel Fleming who was down, the senior from Arlington, Texas.
Shutdown corners are hard to find. That's what Bob Stoops has that he loves, and he actually coaches the corners. But the Oklahomas, the Alabamas, LSUs, yeah, they have those corners.
There's Jamel Fleming coming off a fantastic season last year, 2nd in the nation in passes defensed with 19, led the Big 12 in that department. And you know, he has the right size. He's nearly 6 feet tall, 190 pounds,
yeah,
big up top.
He is big up top. He is just the way you want him cut. Everyone racing through their minds now with the big game next weekend. What would this injury be? Maybe coming down low.
Well, he looked like he got kicked in the head as well.
Well, there's so many head injuries these days. That's the... Yeah, it's not his lower extremities. Hate to say that's the good news because of so many head injuries these days, but it's not like a knee. You know, I had a slip on the ice a couple of years ago and learned a lot about these traumatic head injuries. They are scary, and Oklahoma's had several of them this year, and I'm sure other teams do as well. You've got to be very careful with it.
You know, it is an involvement in defense and in tackling, because we don't see so much breaking down and trying to get your knees bent and drive into the guy. You're doing a lot of roll block tackling or just throwing yourself at somebody, and I think this is a lot of the after effects of doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's a first down for Ball State as Fleming being helped off. And Gabe Lynn, the sophomore from Jenks, will take his place on the corner. Bob Stoops saying during the week when we had a chance to visit with him, said he has to play better than he played last week against Missouri.
He's got potential out of Tulsa Union High School. Or Jenks, rather, yeah. Those two teams hate each other. Jenks isn't true. But anyway, he's got a lot of potential.
Here's Winning, crossing route incomplete, intended for Jamil Smith, and there's Javon Harris on the scene to disrupt things at the 45-yard line.
Well, and that's the other secondary player that Stoops is thinking needs to pick up his play as well. But he is also someone who can come on. Could have been completed there, but pretty good coverage.
2nd down. Slot left for Ball State. We've seen them more under center tonight than they have been in the first 4 games of the season. And they'll run the stretch play with Edwards, and he doesn't go anywhere. And again, very good pursuit by the OU defense. Tom Wart, the middle linebacker, first on the scene.
Jefferson will be coming from our left screen here. He does a good job, and Wart will finish him off. Oklahoma comes with pressure off the edge most of the time. Jefferson, number 1, is a Roy Williams look-alike.
3rd down and 10 at the Ball State 46. 9th play of this drive for the Cardinals. And Wenning with good protection, throws short, caught, broken tackle, and very close to the first down. Toriel Gibson may have a Ball State first down on 3rd and 10, and you're not supposed to be giving those up.
Sloppy tackling. This is exactly the way Ball State wanted this game to go. Missed tackle there by Wart.
Pretty good protection by the Ball State offensive line, gave Wenning a passing lane.
Give credit for the move also.
This drive much more effective than the first 3. As Wenning taking his time with 4 to snap it, and he'll hand it. Edwards bounces it out and gets down to the 39-yard line. Tony Jefferson. Man, Dean was just talking about Travis Lewis on the tackle. What about Travis Lewis and how he's been moving, playing with basically that cast on the foot ever since he came back from the Florida State game?
I don't think that's been as big a problem as people had expected. I mean, it was a miraculous comeback for him to be able to come back as quickly as he did for that Florida State game. He's an inspirational leader, but his play has been solid.
When it can't get the snap away, that is the end of the first quarter. And the offense, awfully good for Oklahoma. When they've had the ball twice, they've gone down and scored a touchdown and a field goal. The defense, still a work in progress. Ball State on the move as the first quarter ends, with the top-ranked Sooners leading Ball State on the score of 10-3. Start of the second quarter here in Norman, with Oklahoma leading Ball State 10-3, but the Cardinals on the move at the OU 39-yard line. Chuck Cooperstein and Dean Blevins with you. Oklahoma 130 yards on their 2 offensive possessions. Ball State with 60. But this being their 4th possession, this one has been their most effective. Their 3 points coming off of a Ryan Broyles fumbled punt and a subsequent field goal by Stephen Schott.
This is the 20th snap for Ball State.
Keith Wenning, the quarterback, and a handoff, and breaking into the secondary is Dwayne Donegan, the 3rd-string running back, and he's got a Ball State first down inside the 20 at the 19-yard line, where Sam Proctor brings him down after a gain of 20.
Sometimes those little guys find those holes, and they're harder to tackle.
Donegan listed at 5'6", so if he's listed at 5'6", what does that mean, Dean?
Yeah, right. Harris couldn't make the play toward the line of scrimmage, and Proctor, getting his first start, did.
Ball State in the red zone for the 2nd time tonight. And Donegan is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Jamarcus McFarland just blew that play up right at the line of scrimmage.
Jamarcus McFarland, coming out of Texas, was the top defensive player his year coming out, and it took him a while to catch on, and a lot of us didn't think he would ever catch on and be nearly the player that he was hyped to be. Coaches are really high on him, Chuck, saying he's really coming around and maturing, and they think he has a chance to be a standout.
2nd down, 10. 13th play of this Ball State ball control drive. Just what Pete Lembo has drawn up. Here's Donegan, stutter steps inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Proctor with another tackle for the Sooners. And Ball State starting to open up a couple of running lanes.
Yeah, you know, it's it's great to see a guy like Proctor get tackles, but you know that old deal when your safety has more than your linebackers, it's not good.
Ball State with another third down. Third down and 5. Slot right set. Show the blitz, and the little shovel pass inside. Jamel Smith not going to get anything done there, as Stacy McGee made sure that he would be swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. I don't think Pete Lembo was real comfortable with the play call and just wanted to make sure he could get it in the middle of the field to try a field goal.
Well, that was very well defended, though. McGee, who came to Oklahoma as a defensive end out of Muskogee, picked up about 40 pounds. They love him on the inside. Very well diagnosed, although Ball State should get out with points.
Shot a 34-yard field goal earlier, and this one from 31. And true.
I think he's doubled his output for the year here in the first half.
You're watching OU College football, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. A 15-play, 75-yard drive for Ball State to bring them to within 4 early in the second.
Team scrimmage and meet the team afterwards during an informal practice.
Welcome back to Owen Field. Oklahoma leading 10-6 in the second quarter, and I'm in good company now as head coach Lon Kruger of the men's basketball team, first-year head coach, in fact, and a few chances to see some of your guys on the court already. What are your thoughts, or what can Oklahoma fans expect to see this season?
Kelly, really like the effort, the intensity, the desire to have a good basketball team. Guys have really worked hard, so we know they'll play hard, they'll play unselfishly, hopefully get people in Lloyd Noble and have a good time together.
Well, and Coach, I saw you open up your Twitter account at the start of this summer. I mean, getting really involved, trying to get the fans out to see the program. Talk about all the things you've done in the community with your team, by yourself, that kind of thing.
So many coaches, players have gone before to establish a great tradition, and we're just entering that family, and we want, again, to invite everyone to be involved and share ownership in the program and have a good time watching it grow.
And one of those places where fans can do that coming up October 16th, an open practice, free admission for fans to come check out this Sooner team for next season.
Absolutely. Bring families, friends, meet the players, sign, sign autographs, they'll take pictures afterwards. 6 o'clock Sunday evening, the 16th. We'll have a ton of students there, the band, the cheer, the pom. It'll be a fun time.
Well, we look forward to it. Coach Kruger, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Kelly.
Guys.
All right, Kelly, thanks very much. Coach Kruger, as Dominic Whaley's kickoff return is going to come back, the flag thrown, and OU is going to have to start likely deep from behind their own 20-yard line.
Legal block in the back. Return team, number 25. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Our referee, Dan Romeo, with the call. And there is the push in the back.
Well, one, you don't want to do that to begin with. You certainly don't want to do that when it isn't going to help your teammate. The Sooners have done a great job this year of minimizing penalties, but getting a few here tonight, and that one doesn't help.
So the Sooners will begin from their own 8-yard line after Ball State's 15-play, 61-yard drive, 7 minutes and 8 seconds on the clock. The scoring drive presented by Ford. And again, that's Ball State's game plan. Try to grind it out and keep the ball away from Oklahoma as much as possible. The Sooners have had the ball for just 5 minutes in the game tonight. Dominic Whaley on first down right up the middle, up to the 15-yard line for a gain of 6.
Yeah, it seemed like they were in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and converted. Kept the ball, and Oklahoma needs to respond.
And Whaley again breaks a tackle across the 20 and across the 30, and he's got a first down after a gain of 15 yards. And again, the power that he has shown through the first 3 games plus has been his most impressive attribute.
Yes, it has, and there are several other attributes as he comes out. I don't think he got nicked up as Clay goes in.
So the Sooners quickly out to the 30-yard line on the 2 runs by Whaley. As Jones looks to the sideline. And they fake the jet sweep. No, they give it to Stills on that. He runs through one tackle and then blasted from behind. Solid tackle by the linebacker Aaron Morris. Shot at Dominique Whaley, and looks like that left shoulder deep.
Yeah, collarbone area. Tell you what, so far it's not started out the way Oklahoma would want it to.
They've moved it well offensively, but there have been some penalties and ball moving by Ball State. Here's a swing pass, Brennan Clay across the 40-yard line. And they'll say he stepped out. And he's slow to get up now on the Ball State sideline.
My goodness. Oklahoma has had 2 running backs transfer because they didn't think they would get playing time. Now you have 2 players go out on consecutive plays. Roy Finch, number 22, who's 5'7" and 165 pounds, will come in. And behind him is a rookie who hasn't played. Let's take a look.
Here's Clay, who took a knee and right into his neck and collarbone area. Tony Martin, the linebacker, doing that. This has been a rough go in the first half. You mentioned the true freshman, Brandon Williams, out of Brookshire, Texas, who everybody wanted, and I think a lot of OU fans have been waiting to see, but fans are impatient. Coaches are just looking for a reason to play the players.
Well, there you see Whaley. We'll talk about him in just a second here, Chuck. I think we're going to see this run once again and see if we can get an idea of what exactly it was. There's the power. I didn't. I couldn't see.
It was Tony Martin on that tackle too, so he's been a running back wrecker the last 2 tackles for Ball State, as Clay is still attended to along the Ball State sideline.
Well, I can tell you what, the injury to Whaley, you want both of them to be well. Whaley is critical to Oklahoma's attack.
The OU basketball season is right around the corner. Take advantage of the new Sooner Hoops Crazy $99 Sooner Saver season ticket on sale now. The Sooner Saver seat is available in select locations while supplies last for men's or women's basketball. To order your season tickets, visit Soonersports.com or call toll-free 800-456-GO-OU.
Sooner Savers. What'd you say?
I needed to work on that. I should have read that 3 times fast.
All right, we mentioned Roy Finch, who will be coming in. Brandon Williams is a freshman who has had trouble. He came in the spring. He's had trouble with blitz pickup and holding onto the ball. And you don't play at Oklahoma unless you can do those 2 things. Stoops says he is going to play him, does not have plans on redshirting him, and I would certainly think right now he doesn't plan to redshirt him.
As Jones will work under center, Ball State showing the blitz, and then they back out. Plenty of time still to snap it. And Jones back in the gun. They blitz off the corner. He's nailed as he let it go, and it's incomplete. Jeffrey Garrett with the corner blitz, and Landry Jones could not step into the pass as a result of that.
Last week, Jones was touched 1 time with no sacks. You're exposing your quarterback there. Oklahoma's needing to play a little sharper here.
2nd down and 10 at the OU 41. Jones flushed out, and Roy Finch the catch and pushed out of bounds near midfield.
Good job though by Jones that time, feeling some pressure, kind of squirting through where Stephen Good was. He kind of snuck between the guard and center. Jones felt it, picked up 8, 3rd and short.
At the OU 49-yard line, coming down on 10.5 to play in the first half. Clear out the backfield. Jones, good protection, short throw, caught by the tight end Hanna for a first down up on the 45-yard line. The rare non-touchdown catch for the Sooner tight end James Hanna, who caught the Oklahoma touchdown pass on the first drive of the game from Landry Jones from 6 yards out. 1st and 10 for OU in Ball State territory at the 46. Double tight end set this time for OU. And the play fake. And Jones looking for the big one, had to check it down instead. Finch breaks 1 tackle, can't get by the second one as he gets knocked down at the 42-yard line after a gain of 4.
They're doing a very good job on Ryan Broyles tonight.
Landry Jones 13 of 18 for 138 yards. But Ryan Broyles has been very quiet in the receiving department. Just one catch for 12 yards on the first drive of the game. And the quick handoff, the stretch plays. Finch cuts it back inside the 40 and down to the 37-yard line, about a yard shy of the first down, with Garrett on the tackle for Ball State along with Hoke.
Finch isn't afraid to go north and south. He has wonderful quicks to him. Ben Haber in the center saying he's never seen a kid quicker than this guy, and that he can cut on a dime, and he can definitely do that.
On third down, Trey Miller, the fullback, and he is bottled up, but I think he was able to get to the marker from where we're looking at the 36-yard line.
Trey Millard is as good a football player as Bob Stoops has. He loves this type of player, and they can put him in a myriad of positions, including just like that. As you see, Whaley coming back, a great sign for Oklahoma.
Whaley taking that tough hit earlier in this series, able to get himself back in the game. Sooners on the move with the Ball State 35-yard line. Jones and the handoff to Whaley, and he breaks through the tackle at the 30 and he got himself to the 25, and another Oklahoma first down, with Freeman ultimately making the tackle. But Whaley, again, post-contact yardage is really impressive with him, and they run quickly here again to the short side of the field as it's cut back inside. Whaley down the left sideline, it'll score. Touchdown Sooners. 25 yards.
A great job of quick tempo. Oklahoma does it better than anyone. There are tons of teams that do it now, but Kevin Wilson brought it to Oklahoma, and the Sooners have a patent on it, but so many teams are doing it well now. They got to the line of scrimmage, snapped it before Ball State was ready, came to the near side, and I was mentioning earlier, they have over 8 yards of pop at that type of play, and that time it goes for 6.
Honeycutt for the extra point. Well, Oklahoma with 3 long scoring drives. As Honeycutt looking for the 17th point. And he has it. Oklahoma an 85-yard scoring drive, a 72-yard scoring drive, and now this one 92 yards. And a little over 4 minutes on the clock, and the Sooners up their lead to 11 in the second quarter.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. The Sooners leading 17-6 after a recent score here in the second quarter, and really a drive that started out kind of slow. They weren't really sure, sort of sputtering along, but there at the end you saw things speed up, and they really proved in the end getting into the end zone.
Well, yeah, they started going to that no huddle and the fast tempo, and I mean, honestly, it was a great cutback by Dominique, and you know, great blocking downfield by Kenny Stills, and freed him up to score. It was great. On
the other accord, Ball State has now proved they can also march it downfield. What would you like to see from the Sooner defense right now?
I would like to see them tackle better. The corners, they're diving. They're not looking at what they're not looking at what they're hitting. And you see, and when that happens, they get banged up, and a couple of them limped off the field because they got hurt.
Tighten up there on the defense, guys. Back to you.
Getting ready for the Patrick O'Hara kickoff, as Oklahoma with an 11-point lead. And the O'Hara kick will be returned by Forsberg from the 8. And met right away at the 20-yard line.
Well, that's one of the reasons Stoops loves Millard, is he says he's his best special teams player and plays on all the special teams. Tell you what, the offense has been really good. Just because the score looks like this doesn't mean they haven't done their part. Here's the last time Ball State had it.
Well, Juwan Edwards running it to the outside, and a lot of third down conversions. Here was the big run by Dwayne Donegan, 20 yards to get it inside the 20-yard line, and settling for the shot field goal, his second of the night. He's had field goals of 34 and 31 yards. Snap back, and here's Wenning. Batted in the air, and it's intercepted. And the first interception this season against Ball State's Keith Wenning. Tony Jefferson coming out of there, and Oklahoma in business right around the 10-yard line.
Well, I'm interested in Roy's comments here in a second about Superman, because I'm saying that he's a Roy Jr., but the play started with number 84, Frank Alexander, having a tremendous season. Bats yet another ball. He had 3 batted balls against Florida State, 3, and he's had 1 here. I think he had 3 in the first game as well. He's had a terrific season.
And the first interception of Keith Wenning this season after 170 attempts. And here is the handoff to Whaley inside the 7-yard line. Actually, it's 170 attempts going back to last year. It's 142 this season. Only Nick Foles in Arizona had thrown more passes without an interception this season before that Wenning pick. But a great play by Alexander, and certainly Tony Jefferson, the Big 12 Defensive Freshman of the Year last year, in the right place at the right time.
As Roy, he's a California kid as well, as 3 Sooners. 3 from Cali are in the starting lineup. The offense has clicked well for Oklahoma, and they'll see if they can cap it here.
They'll try to get perfect, and Stills get him down. He did! Touchdown! Kenny Stills in Oklahoma. Jay Roy, that's some serious athletic ability to go up and haul that one down.
Yes, it was, and he got his foot in. It was very talented. It's a great pass by Landry, and a great job by Kenny to get both feet in. I thought it was only one from where I was standing.
That one flew a little bit. I thought he had to get it over some linebackers, but I don't think there was anyone there. There's that vertical leap coming in handy. Yeah. Now, this guy is athletic. Yeah, Daddy, of course, an NFL player.
Honeycutt for the extra point. And it's good.
What's up with all these California kids we got here, Roy? What's happening?
There's nothing wrong. Hey. It's a great thing that we got some California guys on this team. They're bringing that little swagger back, and you can see it now.
Well, Stills has some swagger, that blonde hair hanging out there, and Jefferson as well. What about the recruiting in California? You kind of started it, didn't you?
I don't know if I started it, but if we want to say I started, that's great.
Well, there have been a few others that have come from that state, but,
yes, sir.
But it certainly is helping the Sooners right now.
Yes, sir. That's for sure.
Quick scoring drive, the forward scoring drive, 2 plays and 10 yards. Kenny Stills 7 yards from Landry Jones, as Jones with his 2nd touchdown pass of the night, his 7th of the season. And Kenny Stills with his his 2nd touchdown of the season, of course, the big one against Florida State that put the Sooners ahead after Florida State had rallied to tie the game.
Roy, talk about Jefferson, if you will, because there are so many of us that do see some of the traits that he has that you had that made you such a special player. Tell us what you know about him.
I know that he's real dedicated in his craft. I mean, he does a lot of film study. He told me himself that he watched a lot of film myself, and and he's a student of the game. And he's always wanting to learn. I mean, I kind of got in trouble with compliance because me being a former player, I really can't talk to him because they consider that extra coaching. But it's hard not to try to pour your everything that you know into somebody else, for you can see them perform at the best level. But I mean, to be able to talk to him for the short time that I did, man, he's real dedicated, and he wants to get better each and every time he steps on the football field.
Well, he made a really nice play there, and I think OU fans would love to see him do something kind of what you did 10 years ago.
Take off
in the Cotton Bowl.
This isn't the Cotton Bowl, is it?
In one of the biggest knockdown dragouts. What a play. And Teddy Lehman, the beneficiary of your fine work, Roy.
I've seen this picture more than I've seen baby pictures of myself.
No, but you don't get tired of it, do you? You don't get tired of it, do you?
No, I don't. I mean, it's a great play. It's a great play. I mean, I can't deny it. I love it. I mean, I can't. I'm.
It helped make you who you are.
It helped make me who I am,
there
and
you
it
go.
helped Jerry Jones put a lot of money in my pocket.
Hey, Roy,
yes.
I bet, did you know that Jefferson's father was an Olympic boxer?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, and it's a combination of strength and speed that helps him. I think maybe Jefferson has said that's helped him.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, when I came out, I did track. I played soccer, and I got to implement all those as far as sprinting and and being able to be a goalie, helping me on my reflexes. in soccer, I mean, you can help. I mean, everything helps you with football if you play other sports.
Boxing sure can, apparently. I know a lot of coaches are high on this kid. He's just one of those guys that seems to be at the right place at the right time, which Chuck was certainly the case here.
Here is O'Hara's kickoff, and Forsberg at the 10-yard line. Breaks a tackle at the 25 and out to the 33-yard line, and that is where Ball State will begin with 7:26 remaining in the first half. Be a part of the team, behind the team. Join the University of Oklahoma Sooner Club today for as low as $100 and support the student athletes in their pursuit of championships both on and off the field. Visit thesoonerclub.com today for more information. So Oklahoma, a 24-6 lead, and a huge drive here. Ball State trying to get itself back in the game, and Oklahoma maybe trying to slam the door on this one. And winning, handoff across the formation, and not much doing from Barrington Scott. Maybe a yard and a half on the play, out to the 35-yard line. Travis Lewis on the tackle for the Sooners.
Oklahoma a little shorthanded on the back end now. You've got Fleming out to injury, and also Colvin, the safety, not playing.
Sam Proctor has taken his place in the starting lineup tonight. Gabe Flynn out on the corner right now. On the field side, I formation this time for Ball State. Walk the linebacker up, waggle right. And that is caught across midfield. Willie Snead with the catch into Oklahoma territory at the 47-yard line. And a gain of 18 on the play.
Good execution here. Good execution. There's where you got to lay a lick on him, Chuck.
Hurst and Lynn a little late on the scene. Ball State in OU territory. 6:25 remaining in the first half. Play action and a lot of time for Wenning, and he's got no one in the vicinity. Did Jefferson come down with that one? Yes, he did.
Wow,
what a play!
Hell of a catch.
What a play by Tony Jefferson for his second interception in as many series. The first one was a gifting, and Roy, this one, nothing short of spectacular athletic ability.
Wow, that was amazing. That was a great one-handed catch. It kind of reminds me of a couple of years ago when Brandon Everidge caught it one-handed on the sideline. I think we were playing Kansas.
That is terrific coverage there. Terrific coverage. It looked as though there was a man open, and Harris had good coverage.
And the fans getting a chance to see it on the big screen here in the stadium, just going nuts.
I tell you, Roy, there's a lot of drills that prepare you for something like that, right?
No, not at all. That's straight athletic ability right there.
I'm saying there are some drills, not exactly that one, but there are lots of drills where you have you have your coaches throw a lot of bullets to you running right and left. Maybe not that one right there.
No, that was all athletic ability. We don't do one-handed catches like that. You can't teach that.
Gain of 3 for OU on the carry, 2nd down and 7. From the OU 25-yard line. Roy Finch in motion and clear it out for him, and Finch will get it. He's wide open down the left sideline. 40, and he stepped out of bounds. No, he did not step out of bounds. Inside the 30 at the 28-yard line. Boy, that was a very well-designed play, Dean.
One thing that gets lost in swing passes a lot is the fact that on this pass, it hits him perfectly in stride. And Finch, maybe he was running out a little juice, started to cut back, didn't quite get there, but a heck of a play by the Sooners, and the offense has not been stopped yet.
49 yards on the catch and run by Roy Finch. And at the Ball State 28, and a Whaley at right tackle. Breaks one tackle before brought down by Aaron Morris at the 24-yard line after a gain of nearly 5. Coming up on the Forward Halftime Show, you'll get a look and listen to the Oklahoma Sooner Marching Band. We'll talk with University President David Bourne. And Kelly will have a very special guest with the Sooners' newest Hall of Famer, Clendon Thomas. That is all coming up at halftime, 4 minutes and 52 seconds from now. Flags flying. Here's Dan
Legal
Romeo.
Substitution. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Once again, Chuck, it was the up-tempo by Oklahoma. They would have probably preferred no penalty because they do better than the 5 yards, but they do get the first. They do get, well, I guess now it's 2nd and short. I was thinking 1st and 5, 2nd and short.
Inside of a yard for the first down. As the backs and receivers look over to the sideline for the call. And here is the handoff. Whaley. Oh, what a gorgeous move. Inside the 5 and down to the 3-yard line and a gain of 16 yards. He's got some jiggle there.
Whaley has what you don't teach also, like we were hearing as Oklahoma gets a quick snap. We'll come back to that thought.
And again to Whaley toward the pylon. And I think he's just short. 2nd down and goal for Oklahoma. Quick.
Watch the move here. He does a great job of always beating that first man. That's what the great backs do.
2nd down and goal. 4:05 to play in the half and the clock rolling. Oklahoma with plenty of time to get this snap off. An uneven start has become a much better second quarter for the Sooners, highlighted by the 2 Jefferson interceptions. Here's a handoff to Whaley and an easy Oklahoma touchdown.
Tell you what, this offense has clicked. Landry Jones is, all he's done is throw him for a couple of touchdowns and 200 yards, and Whaley's lighting it up as well.
Dominique Whaley with his 6th touchdown of the season, and that one was way easy as Oklahoma's offensive line had pushed Ball State's defensive line 2 or 3 yards back into the end zone.
I was about to say, but that's what you want to see if you're from Oklahoma. You want to see those white hats in the end zone.
Honeycutt for the extra point. And it is good. Dominique Whaley, the walk-on junior who has become one of the great stories in college football in the first month of the season with his 2nd touchdown of the night, giving OU a 31-6 lead. And there's Dominique Whaley. Nice smile on the sideline, and why not? He's had a terrific first half.
Well, sitting next to the rookie there, Williams, we talked about early, but it was sure good to see him come back from what looked to be a shoulder injury, and he's having quite a night.
Ford scoring drive, 6 plays and 77 yards. Of course, the big play, the swing pass to Roy Finch for 49 yards. And Whaley with a 16-yard run to get it in tight. Able to punch it home for his 2nd touchdown of the night. So far tonight, Whaley 12 carries, 96 yards. Of course, had the 131-yard game in the opener against Tulsa. And on his way to his 2nd 100-yard game of the season. Here is the O'Hara kickoff. Horsman from the 3. And out to the 23-yard line as we go downstairs again to Kelly Kroll.
Well, Roy Finch, a big part of that last drive for the Sooners. And Dean, you can attest to this in this week's Stoops press conference. A lot of the media members wanting to know if we were going to see more Roy Finch on the field. And Coach Stoops had to joke about it and say, well, let me see, guys. You want to see more carries from Finch, and you want to see Jazz Reynolds get involved more. What else can I do for you guys? Well, I don't know if we'll see more Jazz Reynolds, but we have seen more Roy Finch. So far, so good for the Sooners.
Well, that's right. I might have been the one asking that question because that's what everyone wants to know. Defense nice there, but Kelly, as you told us a moment ago, though, on a more serious note, Clay went out injured. Oklahoma's policy, like so many schools, they don't tell you. I think you've asked 3 different times, and so we don't know the injury to Clay at this point. So that may be one of the reasons you're seeing more of Finch.
On first down, Juwan Edwards gaining 5 yards on the play out to the Ball State 29-yard line. Here's Wenning, another batted ball, and another interception for Oklahoma. And it's another interception for Tony Jefferson. 3 consecutive possessions, 3 interceptions.
Don't know that I've ever heard of that happening. Have you?
I'd have to think long and hard. But for the second time in 3 possessions, it's a batted ball as the hands get up. And it's R.J. Washington who gets the left arm up in the air, Dean, and Tony Jefferson again, right place, right time.
Well, Bobby Jack Wright works with those defensive ends and talks about if you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up if the ball's going up.
So here's Wenning, who hadn't had an interception in 170 attempts.
Wow.
And now has had 3 in as many series. And here is a play action. Jones, wide open. Brandon Williams in the flat. And he cannot come up with it.
And that's the debut of the rookie. I imagine that, look at him on the sideline there, Colvin saying 3-3-3. But that's Brandon Williams, his first action. He gets a bullet thrown right at him.
Yeah, we're not in high school anymore.
Well, that answers one question. He is not redshirting.
Yes, he is officially a member of the Oklahoma football team for 2011. Here's the snap back to Jones. And looking left and wide open. Inside the 10, reaching and scoring. Ryan Broyles, touchdown. 27 yards.
Tell you what, this offense has clicked. Now, they were stopped one time, had the long field goal, which was great to see a kicker knock it in from 44. But other than that, this offense has clicked, no punts. And it really hasn't been Landry Jones to Broyles much.
He's really spread it out. Kenny Stills had it going early.
Good run game.
Reynolds had a catch. The run game's been terrific. And, you know, that's the beautiful thing when you can spread it out and know in a pinch that 85 is always there.
They have weapons.
More than a few. And the best thing about Oklahoma here in the second quarter, the defense getting it cranked up and not only forcing the turnovers.
Defense. Penalty is declined.
Not only forcing the turnovers, Dean, but turning those turnovers into touchdowns.
Well, 331 yards here in the first half.
To 111 for Ball State. Honeycutt for the extra point. And through again. And sure, this is what everybody came to see. Oklahoma doing exactly this. It took a while to get the gears greased up and what have you, but so far, so good here in the second quarter. And boy, what a second quarter for Tony Jefferson.
Can you believe this? I mean, that is rare if it's ever happened.
Sophomore out of Chula Vista, California. Alexander deflects the first one. And here's the most spectacular one. That will make SportsCenter on all levels.
If it doesn't, they need to shut the show down.
And there's the third one off R.J. Washington's batted ball. 3 interceptions, producing 3 Oklahoma touchdowns and a 38-6 Oklahoma lead, and tying the Oklahoma single game record for most interceptions.
He says game, I'm talking quarter.
Really, exactly.
Gosh, Chuck, he must have done that in an an 8-minute game span. We'll have to
I don't
check
even know
that
if it
out
was that
for
long.
you. Yeah.
The forward scoring drive, 2 plays, 27 yards. And it didn't take long after the first interception, only 2 plays to get into the end zone then, and then 6 plays on the drive following the one-handed interception. Orsman's been busy returning kickoffs to the 5-yard line this time. And brought down at the 20-yard line. And good coverage by Oklahoma on special teams. And listen, those guys got to be getting a little tired right now, doing a lot of running down the field.
Well, that's a good thing, though. Haywood is another guy who loves special teams. He's a 260-pound tight end. And his, when I was asking a little bit about him, the coaches this week said nasty, in a good sense.
So Ball State from the 20. Let's see what they can get going in the last 2:48 of the half. The handoff is to Edwards, and he loses a yard on the play. Guess who on the scene? Boy, what a second quarter for Tony Jefferson. The countdown is on to get Sooner Hoops crazy. For the first time ever, an interactive website's available just for Sooner Hoops fans. Be sure to visit GetSoonerHoopsCrazy.com for fun promotions, tickets, deals, game insider information, and ways to get Sooner Hoops crazy. Second down, and officially no gain on the last play.
Jefferson top of the screen. He's coming on a blitz.
Wenning looking right and throws and knocked away. Outstanding coverage there. DeMontre Hurst on the tight end for Ball State. Aaron Merschman, incomplete, 3rd down and 10.
Still missing Fleming, so there must be an injury there to Fleming that is something significant.
So Ball State facing 3rd down on their 2nd scoring drive. They converted on 3 third downs. And this is long, 3rd down and 10. Oklahoma, of course, still with all of their timeouts remaining and 2:07 left in the half.
He's saying, Coach, don't make me throw it left.
Well, he's looking
that way.
And there it goes, and it's incomplete. Oh! Well, excuse me, I called that a little too soon.
That might have been the easiest catch of all. I know there wouldn't have been 4.
Well, I'm just wondering, though, as a quarterback, seriously, do you tell the coach, you know, at some point, can we throw it the other way? I really don't want to throw it at this guy if I don't have to.
Oh.
So 4th down. And Ball State will punt. Scott Cabanda will kick. And Jefferson had it. And then falling backwards, couldn't hold on. Rugby style kick. Try to kick it away from Broyles. One bounce to him at the 33, and he'll fall down right there. A 37-yard punt, 1-yard return. And the Sooners, with 1:53 remaining, all 3 of their timeouts left. And
this is really what you want to kind of see, Chuck. You want to be able to run a 2-minute offense, and you want to have the game in good hands. So it's kind of a perfect situation. We got to get Roy talking later about the fact this secondary, those guys call themselves the Sharks. I think the Sharks are swimming tonight.
Well, Tony Jefferson has certainly taken a bite out of Ball State's offense. Lots of time for Oklahoma and good field position at the 34. Excellent protection. And out to the left. And across the sideline, out of bounds, Kenny Stills. And a 1st down after a gain of 13. And Stills has it very much his own way in the first half, too. Landry Jones, 17 of 23 for 222 yards. Here's Jones again. And the crossing route, that one's intercepted. That one got away from him. And intercepted by Kyle Hoke. He had Stills wide open, Dean, crossing over the middle, but he just threw that one too high.
Offensive line once again doing a great job, and that one he sailed a couple, I think, tonight.
Jones turning it over, the 2nd OU turnover of the night. It's the 5th interception that Jones has thrown this season. From 12 a year ago. 1:41 for Ball State to try to get something going, and they have all of their timeouts left. Try to throw the screen, incomplete, and probably a good thing that it was incomplete, as the Sooners had that one well read with David King, the junior out of Houston, Texas, right there out in the flat. So 2nd down and 10. Clock stopping on the incomplete with 1:37 remaining. Wenning looking over a 4-man front. They blitz off the corner with Nelson. He'll step up and will throw it incomplete. He had a man open. His wide receiver, Tomlinson, was wide open in the middle of the field, but a poor throw by Wenning that time. 3rd down and 10. And a stop by OU, Dean, and another chance for the Sooner offense again with all those timeouts left.
They were a little loose on defense early. They have tightened it up here in the 2nd quarter, haven't they?
Ball State 3 of 8 on 3rd down. Wenning throws it short and caught by Gibson, but well short of the 1st down. with Travis Lewis, Demontre Hurst on the scene, and Ball State will have to punt. And Oklahoma will take the timeout, stop the clock with 1:25 remaining.
Nice, sure tackle that time by Hurst.
Oklahoma blowing this one wide open in the second quarter, and really doing it with their defense and doing it with the hands of Tony Jefferson, tying an Oklahoma school record with 3 interceptions in a game. They came on 3 consecutive possessions, and OU turned all of those into touchdowns to blow it wide open.
And complimenting that defensive performance, the offense has yet to punt, and I think they've only had 3 passes go Ryan Broyles' way. He's caught a couple. Kenny Stills, we mentioned earlier that he was only 24 yards. Right now he's 11 yards away from 1,000 for his career, and if he does that, he's going to break Ryan Broyles' record for fastest to 1,000.
Still 6 catches, 78 yards in the first half. And the Cavanda kick, Broyles' fair catch called, and running across the sideline at the 25-yard line.
Landry Jones would like nothing more than to find points here after having one sail on him.
35-yard punt. Sooners will start from the 25-yard line. 1:18 remaining in the first half. The 25th ranked OU volleyball team, next home match Wednesday, October 5th versus Missouri at the McCaskill Fieldhouse. All the action starts at 7 p.m. To order tickets, visit Soonersports.com. As Landry Jones brings him in from the sideline. With Whaley lined up on his right. And Jones to throw. And whips it over the middle, and a nice crossing route caught. Jazz Reynolds across midfield, and he breaks free at the 30. Reynolds is tripped up finally inside the 15-yard line. Andre Dawson, a touchdown-saving tackle for Ball State.
Nice burst there after he caught that, because he had about 3 or 4 men around him in zone coverage.
Jazz Reynolds, 5 catches, 93 yards last week against Missouri, and a big one there. And here's Jones throwing it away. He and Stills. A bit of miscommunication there inside the 10-yard line.
I tell you what, this offensive line once again just giving him all night. Perfect throw and catch. And watch him accelerate past all these cats, and can't outrun them all though.
62 yards on the pass from Jones to Jazz Reynolds. Second down and 10. Ball on the 13-yard line. Jones whips it. Incomplete. And a leaping grab that Reynolds could not come down with. Here's Kelly Kroll downstairs.
Well, I had a chance to talk to Jazz Reynolds this week, and he spoke of the year off and said, you know, it really made the game slow down for me because I watched a lot of film, learned more about our offense and why we do certain things. Being able to read defenses before the snap, knowing what they're going to do and knowing where my route should go and where the open spaces will be. And certainly he found one of those open spaces just then, guys.
Well, those crossing patterns have been there all night long against this Ball State defense. Third down and 10 for the Sooners. 51 seconds remaining in the half. Try to blitz. Whaley picked it up. Fade right corner. Miller can't come down with it. Garrett with pretty good coverage that time for Ball State. But you talk about the pickup by the running backs. Boy, Whaley tremendous there.
He's an all-around back. Almost. That would have been the one to set the record, but not quite. Pretty good throw. Got to throw it to the outside. No, that was Miller. I'm sorry. I was thinking that was Stills. Still, the Sooners should get points out of this.
Honeycutt, a 30-yard field goal attempt. He hit from 44 in the first quarter, banked it in off the left upright. And this one solidly through from 30 yards and a 41. Was it? It was no good. Excuse me.
Well, now Stoops may have a decision to make, huh? Jimmy Stevens is almost automatic. Anything inside 38 yards.
So Oklahoma cannot convert. They had the chance. They got the big play from Reynolds. But Honeycutt cannot convert from 30 yards.
Well, they had 2 chances there, Chuck, at the end of the half with 2 drives, and throw the pick, missed the field goal.
442 seconds of the half.
It's been a long 2 minutes.
Been a long first half for Keith Wenning. He'd probably like to take a knee, but he's not going to do it. He'll hand it to Donegan, who cannot get back to the line of scrimmage. Hurst and Lewis again on the tackle for Oklahoma.
I think they said, we'll figure out a way to shorten this real quickly.
Clock running down, 25 seconds remaining in the half. The play clock hasn't started. I'm not sure why the play clock hasn't started. But they're just going to let it run on down and head on to the locker room, and Oklahoma will take a 38-.
With a couple of snags and that touchdown, and the 3 interceptions, of course, by number 1, and I started to call him Superman. Superman 2, not yet. Roy delivered too many times for him to become Superman this early. But what a first half.
But do know that the sequels to Superman were all really, really good. They all worked out, and Tony Jefferson may be that next one. Kelly Kroll with head coach Bob Stoops.
Well, Coach, maybe not what you wanted to see from the defense in the very onset, but boy, did they redeem themselves towards the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, we got some good turnovers, but, you know, we could play better there. It's pretty good. You're up 38-6 and really mad both sides of the ball. I think we could play better.
On the offensive end, though, they made things happen there when they had the opportunities.
Yeah, but we still haven't capitalized and haven't been as in sync as we should be, so we're working on it.
Coach, thank you. Good luck in the second half.
Bob Stoops heads to the locker room, and I guess that's Bob Stoops, and that's why Oklahoma is the program that it is, because it's never good enough. You want it to be perfect, and as good as the first half was, Dean, 406 yards. This is how they got to 406 yards, although it started out slowly with that onside kick that Ball State recovered.
Good call, and ends up with the Sooners, though, coming back.
Touchdown pass to James Hanna. And here is the first of Tony Jefferson's 3 interceptions. The Frank Alexander batted pass. And the touchdown catch by Kenny Stills, a terrific catch. And here's the best of the interceptions, the Tony Jefferson one-handed grab. Roy Finch running it down the sideline, getting a chance to play. 49-yard gain there.
That sets up the touchdown by Whaley, his second.
6th touchdown of the season. Another batted ball, that one by R.J. Washington, and there was Jefferson with interception number 3.
And then Broyles will get this one in.
As Oklahoma exploding for 28 second quarter points, and as Bob Stoops said, left some points on the board. Missed field goal there at the end of the half. But the Sooners getting it done. Top-ranked team in the country looking for win number 39 in a row at home and well on their way, leading 38-6. Oklahoma Sooner football is brought to you by Ford. Stop by your Oklahoma Ford dealer and find out why the F-Series trucks are the best in Oklahoma. By Oklahoma Natural Gas. Get a $30 rebate for having your natural gas heating system checked. Go to oklahomanaturalgas.com/rebates. By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. And by Arvis Bank, the perfect bank for your changing world. Chuck Cooperstein and Dean Blevins, Kelly Kroll on the sidelines. We joined in the second half again by Royal Williams. As we start the third quarter at Owen Field with Oklahoma leading 38-6. Let's take a look at our Ford halftime statistics. And dominated by the Sooners, as you might think, 19 first downs, 406 total yards. And after turning it over a couple of times early, Dean, Oklahoma able to get the turnover machine going, and Tony Jefferson was a one-man turnover machine.
I was trying to circle Tony's 3 there, but what looks nasty to the right is that 2. Otherwise, it's been a really solid performance by the Sooners. Landry Jones had about 2 or 3 balls fly on him. You're never going to hit them all, but to be objective, those did fly on him, but still the guy throws for 297 yards. And defensively, pass coverage much better than what it was a week ago against Missouri.
Kickoff by O'Hara into the end zone, and Orsman, who was awfully busy with 6 returns in the first half, decided he had enough of that and took a knee. Here are your first half impact players. Jones's numbers: Dominic Whaley, nearly 100 in the first half, and a couple of touchdowns, but no one more impactful than turning the game around than Tony Jefferson, the 9th player in Oklahoma history to have 3 interceptions in a game. And our impact player presented by Oklahoma Natural Gas. Here's Keith Wenning on the first snap of the 3rd quarter, and they'll ride it off left guard with Edwards, the ball carrier, and he gets out to about the 23-yard line for a gain of 3. Wenning, 9 of 20, 65 yards in the first half, 3 interceptions. And after coming into the game with the 130 consecutive throws without an interception, and flags flying, and Ball State will be moving backwards. On his 12th pass, he was intercepted.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Yes, there were enough players that moved that Dan Romeo could not discern which one actually moved first. So Ball State will move backwards. Cardinals' 3rd penalty of the night for 15 yards. OU flagged just once in the first half. So 2nd down and 12. And across the formation on the sweep, it's Edwards trying to get the penalty yardage back. Gets out to the 20-yard line.
Tell you a guy worth keeping an eye on is number 90 for Oklahoma, David King. He is a big, there's Brent Venables calling signals, but David King is a big defensive end. Weighs around 285, and he plays down on all fours very well when they move him down inside. Opposite end now is Frank Alexander, but 90's a good player, doesn't start. He's in the rotation.
Ball State 3 of 9 on 3rd down in the first half. Wenning back to throw. Here they come off the corners. Wenning, nice side step, and that's incomplete. And excellent defense that time by Oklahoma. Again, as Wenning looked like he was going to have a passing lane, and that one knocked away. Travis Lewis, Javon Harris on the scene to be able to do that. So 4th down and 3 and out for Ball State to begin the 2nd half.
Travis, the ringleader of this defense, all Big 12 each year. He has been with the Sooners. And definitely the vocal leader, Chuck.
He certainly made his feelings known after last week's performance against Missouri. The Cavanda kick is a nice kick. Broyles at the 37 and cannot get away. Knocked back down by Ortiz at the 35-yard line. A 45-yard kick and -2 on the return. So here come the Sooners and Landry Jones with a big first half, nearly 300 yards passing.
I've been impressed with the fact that he's checked down off several receivers. That time on the goal line, it was just a quick play action, find the tight end. That one sailed a little bit. Kenny Stills there for the grab, but still 297 yards and a good percentage.
19 of 29.
He keeps winning ball games. He'll be in the hunt for the Heisman. Something about playing in championships that gives a guy a chance, doesn't it?
Yes, certainly does. The handoff to Whaley, and he barely gets back to the line of scrimmage, and Jones needing just 3 yards for his 16th game of 300 yards or more, setting the all-time school record last week with the 448 against Missouri, breaking Heisman Trophy winner Sam Bradford's record.
The most impressive thing in the first half, Jefferson's 3 picks. The second, to me, would be the play of the offensive line. We'll see if they'll come out on fire in the third the way they did in the first 2.
No sacks allowed, only 1 allowed in the first 3.5 games of the year. Play fake to Whaley, and a big one over the middle of Broyles, and running away from everybody. To the 10, to the corner, he's got it. Touchdown, Oklahoma, 64 yards.
Those are the intermediate throws that the great quarterbacks can execute. That's what gives Oklahoma a chance to be in the hunt at the end of the year. 3 receptions, 2 touchdowns now for Ryan Broyles, and what a strike, Chuck.
Touchdowns 40 and 41. for Ryan Broyles in his spectacular career here in Norman.
Once again, though, the play action and just a terrific job. A wonderful cup there for Landry Jones, just trying to find a window. He had that without any problem. If there's any such thing as throwing it on a line at about 45 yards and catching a guy this fast in stride, that was it because of the offensive line.
Here is Honeycutt for the extra point. And this one is booted through. 12 minutes, 42 seconds. Landry Jones' third touchdown pass of the night. Ryan Broyles' second touchdown reception. Sooners are rolling. Bit of a sluggish start for Oklahoma tonight, but that has long since been forgotten as the Sooners have now reeled off 35 unanswered points and lead the game by the score of 45-6. Ryan Broyles capping a two-play drive with his touchdown catch, his second of the night, and the third two-play drive for a touchdown by OU tonight. And here is the O'Hara kickoff. And his best one of the night in Osborne, 6 yards deep, will take a knee. Let's go downstairs, and here's Kelly Kroll.
Well, you guys have been talking about it all night. Some very impressive numbers for Ryan Broyles as he approaches some big records in the Big 12. But Coach Norvell actually spoke about him this week, saying what a competitive guy he is. But one of the best things about him is he's becoming more calm and is constantly talking to Landry Jones this year about adjustments they can make together. And that's what the best duos do. But the biggest impact, he says, Ryan Broyles has made this year is the fact that he's taking the younger guys under his wing and showing them the ropes, and that we've seen in some of these younger wide receivers.
Certainly Jazz Reynolds has taken it all to heart. Here's Wenning's throw, and he throws it out of bounds. Tomlinson, the intended receiver, but about 10 yards over his head. The forward scoring drive for Oklahoma. Nice and quick. 2 plays, 44 yards. Oklahoma's had only 2 drives this year, 2 touchdown drives, or scoring drives, I should say, of more than 4 minutes. One of them was actually tonight.
Is that right?
Second down and 10. And low snap, Wenning able to field it. And the carry by Edwards, Jawan Edwards, the freshman out of Matthews, North Carolina, gets out to the 25-yard line for a gain of 5 to set up 3rd down and 5.
You know, just a little bit more on Broyles. He was one of the Sooners that went over to Haiti and had a tremendous experience in the offseason. And Ryan has matured a great deal since his freshman season. But this year he rededicated himself in the offseason in many ways. And he worked hard years before, but this year was a record setter for him.
Wenning in trouble. He is hit, and ball is incomplete. Incomplete, as official Dan Romeo said that the arm of Keith Wenning was moving forward when he was hit, and I think Frank Alexander was the first one on the scene again. Boy, he has been terrific tonight and all season long.
David King, this will be a teaching moment for Bobby Jack Wright and Brent Venables. Fall on the ball. Everybody sees the guys pick it up and ramble in for a touchdown.
And actually, it was Corey Nelson that got in there and knocked it out together. Well, it was Alexander first, and just Nelson for good measure. But another 3 and out.
He has taken it to another level. Now, this guy is good. He's a different type player than Jeremy Beal. Jeremy Beal was a stout.
4th down.
Jeremy Beal was a stronger, slower, but very effective college football player. This guy is rangier and has tremendous quickness and has just taken it to another level. He is a terrific football player right now.
The punt, line driver. Fair catch call by Broyles at the 44-yard line. And Oklahoma taking over in fantastic field position. It's time now for the Academy Sports and Outdoors play of the game. And there have already been a bunch of them, but let's have Jones and Broyles doing what they do so well. 62 yards to the house. And there's your Academy Sports and Outdoors play of the game.
That's the way you draw it up.
Landry Jones now with 16 games in his career of 300 yards or more. And the fake to Williams. And down the right side, Reynolds all by himself, and he's going to stroll on in. Touchdown, Sooners. And one of those young guys, Dean, that Kelly and you were talking about, Brian Broyles trying to take under his wing and be more of a leader too, and where Reynolds, these last 2 weeks now, Missouri and here against Ball State, is throw him in there along with Stills and Broyles, and that is a lethal receiving corps.
Well, that one was easy for him. Kyle Hoke, who we spoke of earlier, a little coaching, and he knows a lot of football. That time he bit when he should have stayed back, and that one was easy for Jazz Reynolds. And Landry Jones with a big smile on his face as his total now goes to 417.
The kick by Honeycutt is good. And Oklahoma, I think Bob Stoops said a few things at halftime to get his team up and running. They've come out firing here in the third quarter, 52-6. Oklahoma with a couple of touchdowns on long touchdown scoring plays here in the third quarter from Landry Jones, first to Ryan Broyles and now to Jazz Reynolds, 52-6. Let's go downstairs, spend a few minutes with Roy Williams. And Roy, we were saying just before the break, Bob Stoops wasn't happy talking to Kelly at halftime about the way his team has played. He thought they were inconsistent. I think the message got through here at the start of the third quarter.
You know what? It really did. They started off very slow, but after that first quarter, they kind of turned it on. Tony Jefferson kind of started that fire with that little hat trick with 3 interceptions, and Landry Jones and Dominique Whaley and Ryan Broyles, they're just having a phenomenal game so far.
Here's O'Hara's kickoff, and he's put 2 into the end zone here in the third quarter. And he'll put another one in the end zone. This is the best one of the night. They've gotten progressively better as we've gone through the night.
He has a strong leg. He's been a little bit inconsistent, but that's another thing that you try to get teams to be as perfect as they can. And Oklahoma's really good, but you look at areas where they might improve a little bit. That's been one, Chuck, that you could get a little bit better, but his last 3 or 4 kicks have been touchbacks.
And of course, one of the issues for Oklahoma the last couple of years has been kickoff coverage. And you don't have to worry about that if you're kicking it 9 yards deep.
No, you don't. They're good at it this year, and throughout Stoops' career here, they've been outstanding.
Keith Wedding on first down, and the fumble, and it's picked up, and it's going to be run in. Tom Ward's going to run it in for a touchdown. And there's your defense, Roy.
Right. Hey, whenever you can score on defense, that's a great thing for the team.
Well, the defense basically set up 2 scores in the first half because of the Jefferson interceptions in plus territory, and now Tom Ward gets it done, but he is getting talked to by his head coach.
I wonder what he did. I couldn't see.
Well, he threw the ball on the ground. He pulled an NFL move. Now he's smiling again. Let's watch the play.
Well, Wedding tried to keep it, which is not a very good idea, and it was knocked out easily.
After the score, sportsmanlike conduct.
Oh, man.
Offense.
Just can't do that. And
now,
if Bob Stoops wasn't enough, Brent Venables is even a little bit more vociferous, typically.
Travis Lewis with the knockout. Tom Ward picking it up, running it in for the score. So the Sooners getting it done on both sides of the football in the most convincing of fashions. But again, it may not matter tonight, but a play like that, say next week in the Cotton Bowl with all the emotion in the Cotton Bowl, and you don't want to give up 15 yards like that.
Especially after the crowd hearing the score of the Texas-Iowa State game just a moment ago.
Yes, the Longhorns have been impressive tonight. A lot of people thought that they might be in trouble up at Ames, but obviously not the case. No one thought Oklahoma would be in trouble tonight, though, here against Ball State, and they haven't been. And here again, Travis Lewis, big play guy. He makes the play. Wenning doesn't like to run the football, and you can see why, as Lewis knocked it out, and Wart, a 22-yard fumble return, and the Sooners make it 59-6.
Last year, Kenny Stills tossed one to the turf, and I don't think he'll ever do that again. And my guess is if Wart ever makes it back into the zone, he won't either. Boy, has this turned into a nightmare for Ball State after they ate up all that time, really more than yardage. They did have a nice drive, but still they haven't gotten a lot accomplished, but they did run a lot of clock early, and you know that had to be a key for them. Well, it has gone downhill fast.
Oklahoma obviously didn't like that, and Roy, Oklahoma's defense certainly didn't like that, and they have really made amends since that very long field goal drive in the second quarter.
49-point run.
Orsman from the 21. And he gets himself out to the 42-yard line, and that's where Ball State will begin. And let's visit with Kelly Kroll.
Well, guys, Tom Wart has mentioned a number of times during weekly press conferences and such how emotional he gets during ball games, because he was very, very close to the late Austin Box, one of the Sooners' best. And he says, you know, it's easy to let those things take over, and I've got to do a better job of controlling my emotions. Of course, Austin Box wearing the number 12, and this year the defense has made sure to rotate that number 12 jersey around, and tonight Corey Nelson wearing it on the field.
Wenning, pass deflected. And Ronell Lewis got that one. Second down. Boy, Roy, you have to love the way the defensive line's getting their hands up and batting balls around.
No, it's awesome. I mean, that's how it led to Tony's first interception. You know, Alexander getting his hands up, and I mean, that's what you're taught when a quarterback does a 3-step yard drop back. Is you got to get your hands up to bat that ball down and try to create a tip to lead to an interception, which has happened.
Second down and 10. Donegan on the stretch play, and Gabe Lynch shoves him out of bounds at the 48-yard line.
Roy, you might talk a little bit about Ronell Lewis. I know Tulsa, when they came in, they game planned against Ronell Lewis. He was the one they wanted to stay away from.
Yeah, I mean, you got to stay away from the big-time players, because you don't ever want to run at somebody that you know he's going to be able to, shut down the whole run attack.
Third down and 5 at the 47 of the Cardinals. 10:45 to play here in the third quarter. This is a busted play. Wenning fakes the pitch, and he's going to get himself a first down.
Those are the ones that always work, you know.
The busted plays, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't game plan for those, do you? You don't work on those in practice, Roy.
You really can't. I mean, the safety was in a hard rock. I mean, he didn't know what to do. I mean, he wanted to play the quarterback in the pitch, but he took the pitch, and the quarterback fell forward for the first down.
Ball State in Oklahoma territory at the 47-yard line after a 6-yard run by Keith Wenning. And Donegan, no gain at all. And a great penetration again. There's Alexander first on the scene. He's just been dominant up front tonight.
Yeah, and there's Big King there lined up next to it. Shedding blocks, and King was the primary tackler.
You can tell that defensive line is really coming into their own.
Roy, don't you think that Stoops has stacked up just more stallions than you've seen in a while? Just seems to me he's put recruiting class back to back to back that are just even special for what he's had here.
No, seriously, he really has done a great job. Him and the coaching staff have done a great job as getting the recruits. I mean, the top recruits to come in here and play. They're not just 1 and 2 deep; they're 3 and 4 deep as well, offense and on defense.
Bob Stoops in his 13th year as the head coach of the Sooners, and almost amazingly, there are only 3 coaches in college football that have been at their jobs longer than Bob Stoops.
Yeah.
Obviously, Joe Paterno, Frank Beamer at Virginia Tech, and Mack Brown at Texas. Stoops and Kirk Ferentz of Iowa, each in their 13th season.
Well, it's not as though he hasn't had chances.
Plenty of them. Here's Wenning crossing route almost.
Give it to him.
And did he get Did Lynn get it? No. On the ground, it'll be 4th down.
Man, defense had great opportunities to get their hands on some balls tonight, though. Let me say that.
Well, they've gotten their hands on a bunch of balls.
Bunch of them. He almost had that one.
So close. Gabe Lynn lay it out. But great replays. So now nose hit the ground. Snead probably should have caught that ball for Ball State. It's 4th down. So Cavan did a punt again.
It's kind of an unusual set there with 3 out wide right and the 3 back to block.
The rugby kick, line driver. Royals lets it bounce, and Ball State is able to down that ball.
What a play!
That was a phenomenal play. Wow.
So the Sooners will back it up after a 47-yard punt.
Well, I would think that
that was close. Was his foot on the ground when he touched the ball in the end zone? The ball wasn't in the end zone.
I don't know. I'm looking into the huddle here, trying to figure out if they're going to give the ones one more shot at it, and it looks like they are.
Landry Jones, 5 touchdown passes tonight, 1 shy of his career high set in 2009 against Tulsa. And the last 2 touchdowns have been big hitters. To Broyles and Jennings. And the snap. And the handoff this time. Down to the 9-yard line, Dominic Whaley. Gain of 5 on the play. And that one puts Whaley over 100 yards for the night.
Second time this season.
He'll try it again on the right side. And he's got himself a 1st down out to the 18-yard line.
I'll tell you what, after this game is over, you ask Oklahoma fans what they thought of first, what scared them the most. It's when number 8 went out hurt. You know, especially when you see Clay go down on the very next play, and we've not seen him return.
We have not seen Clay. Andre Dawson is the injured Ball State player after the Whaley 1st down. But, you know, we've seen this a couple of times, though, from Whaley. He knocked the cornerback Dehaney out of the game on the very first run. I mean, he is a physical guy.
Really is.
He's got the package. He's got speed. He's got power. He's got the ability to pick up in pass coverage. I mean, you really can't ask for a whole lot more.
And the exciting thing for Oklahoma with him is that he's not played any ball. When he was at Langston, he was a 2nd-team player. When he was at Lawton MacArthur, he was not a primary back. So he's just now getting action. And so the upside to this kid is really high.
109 yards on 15 carries for Dominic Whaley. Oklahoma 1st and 10 from their 17-yard line. Leading 59-6. And Whaley again at right guard and bounces out of that tackle and gets it across the 20 to 22-yard line. Excuse me, Millard on the carry.
And you know, the guy that he backed up at Lawton Mac was OU safety Javon Harris. Harris was a tailback, and so they moved the Whaley kid over to the slot.
Millard again, and he gets out to the 25-yard line. Tell you, Millard had that run last week against Missouri that made every highlight show as good and tough a physical run as you will see, as he just powered for that Missouri quarterback. 3rd down and 3. And out of the eye this time. And the carry, Williams up to the 25-yard line. And he is going to be shy of the 1st down. So it is 4th down, and for the first time tonight, Tress Way will come on the field to punt for the Sooners.
Well, don't pull a hamstring, Tress. Now here's another guy who's had just an outstanding season.
Yes, he has. 13 punts. 10 of them have been down inside the 20-yard line. The left footer hooks that one out of bounds. That was not one of his best. And they will mark it out at the 43-yard line. Oklahoma still in control. 6.5 to play in the third. Oklahoma a 59-6 lead with 6:35 to play in the third quarter. For all the latest news and information on your Sooners, visit the online home of Oklahoma Athletics, Soonersports.com. Oklahoma's first-team defense still on the field here midway through the third quarter. We were saying during the break, team just talking to Bob Stoops is really working his team tonight. Even with this huge lead, he doesn't want any let-up from them.
No, he loves clean games, and they've had a couple so far. This one didn't start out that way, but they are just such a potent team that they were able to explode on Ball State.
On first down, sweep right with Edwards, and great pursuit by Lewis. Travis Lewis, and then Ronell Lewis, and Sam Proctor running to the ball and putting him on the ground after a gain of a yard. And again, Travis Lewis, lots of concern in August when he came down with that injury to his toe. They thought he was going to be out a lot longer than he was, and not showing any ill effects whatsoever, Dean. Really moving side to side extremely well.
No, but he needs as many reps as he can get. I mean, you don't want him on the field here much more, but even he was rusty in a couple of ball games. He's still that spiritual leader, Chuck, but he was not in the right places a few times, and he'd be the first to admit it.
Wenning's pass in the left flat caught by Connor Ryan for a Ball State first down as they move into Sooner territory at the 41-yard line after a 14-yard gain. And Wenning will do it again out of the slot left. And throws short, and that's incomplete. In and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Jamil Smith. Well, obviously this game didn't start the way Oklahoma wanted it to, Dean, but the second quarter was huge, and especially the plays by the defense, but there has been a continual rise in the quality of their play here tonight. And I think ultimately when the coach throws on the tape tonight, he'll be pretty happy with it, but he certainly is a live in the moment guy, and he wants nothing but the best on every single play. Here's Wenning, will throw it out. Look out! Oh man, Gabe Lynn overloads. And Jawan Edwards paid a terrible price for having his head turned.
Well, smart of him to not go head first. That was a vicious hit, and Edwards is a big man, so he took the hit pretty well.
Gabe Lynn played a lot last week. Jamel Fleming was injured, did not play very well by his standard and by the coach's standard after watching the tape, but he will get everyone's attention with that lick. Great hit. Third down. And here's Wenning, pass batted away again. Ronell Lewis got that one. That's the fourth deflected pass tonight by the Oklahoma defensive line.
At least.
But it's all about the penetration that Oklahoma's defensive line can get. Even if they don't necessarily get to the quarterback, they're pushing that offensive lineman backwards and then can get their arms up and knock that ball away.
You know, one of the things that has really helped this defense is just the fact that he is out here. There was a concern in the spring when Fleming wasn't around that he wouldn't be able to play, and then it wasn't known until game week that Ronell Lewis was able to play. The additions of those two, if you will, has really helped this defense.
End over end rugby kick away from Broyles and down at the 15-yard line. And let's take one more look at the big lick by Gabe Lynn, the sophomore from Jenks. And you know, that is how you draw it up.
Yeah, that is. His mouthpiece comes out, but he got the better end of that one. How about you don't like your quarterback just hanging you out like that, do you? Oh.
Well, as a quarterback, what would the running back say to you?
He wouldn't speak. He would just do it with his fists, his hands.
Well, you didn't throw it very much anyway. Sooners begin from their 15-yard line. And Brandon Williams on the carry, right up the middle, and he's got his first down as a Sooner out to the 28-yard line for 13 yards.
Fans love nothing more than to get a ballyhooed running back on the field, carrying it at busted big runs.
Going on out to the right in the flat as Broyles regains his balance and gets out across the 30-yard line.
So what does he jump up to, Chuck? Number fourth place all-time career receptions NCAA, correct?
Correct. What a career he has had. He's also had a pretty big week. There is the Big 12 record on that catch, passing a running back, it should be noted, Torian Henderson, right. Texas Tech, 2005. And here's Williams again, spinning across the 45 and brought down the 48-yard line. And yeah, you're getting a little look at the future right now with Brandon Williams.
Well, no one's doubted since he stepped a foot on this campus that he could do that.
And the fans getting a look on the big scoreboard. Ryan Broyles being congratulated for his Big 12 career reception mark. Hometown kid making good.
Best football player ever out of Norman, that's for sure.
Sweep left, Williams again getting a block from Miller, and he gets to the 45-yard line, a yard shy of the first down. Brian Jones on the tackle. A pretty big week for Ryan Broyles. Sets records, scores touchdowns, gets engaged.
Gets engaged, and of course Whitney Hand and Landry Jones engaged as well. So that tandem, there's four of them.
Second down and a yard as the clock moves under 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. Oklahoma leading 59-6. 3 touchdowns here in the third quarter. Jones remains in. Here's Williams again. This time a little penetration by the Ball State defense, but it should be enough for an Oklahoma first down. Tell you what, when you keep bringing in people like Williams, and then you get somebody like Whaley who comes out of nowhere, your depth is just totally off the charts. And it's a wonderful problem for a coach to have, because there's always going to be someone that he can turn to that could be a productive player for him. Here's Jones, quick hitter out to the left. Stills, little jitterbug step, but could not get away. And down at the 40-yard line. Short gain on the play, 3 yards.
Those are just quick throws when you get your corner that's, if he's not in press coverage, he gives you a cushion of 7 or 8. It's always there.
Another school record set by Landry Jones tonight. Number 6. Second consecutive week over 400 yards. And Williams at left tackle, head over heels to the 35-yard line. And the freshman from Brookshire, Texas, getting plenty of work here in the third quarter.
You know, anyone who's played college football can remember the first time they played where they had early success. There's nothing like it. There really isn't. It is it's something that you work for all your life, and you're just beginning to see those dreams become realized.
And now the offensive linemen get to have some fun, because they just get to fire off the ball and move forward. Brandon Williams being the beneficiary of that. And you see Jarvis Jones in the game, and he's been injured, making his first appearance of the season.
Jarvis Jones is actually the best offensive lineman, is what they would have told you 8 months ago. Of course, he had a terrible knee injury and sat out. He's back a little bit early, but he was out for about 6 months, and he should be able to come back and get quite a few snaps next week against Texas.
Final minute of the third quarter. Jones. Handoff inside the 30-yard line. Final half minute of the quarter.
You asked me the most important thing that needed to happen in this second half for Oklahoma, and to me it was real simple. Don't get anybody else hurt. You know what you have. You want to play well. You want to stay crisp, but next week is your big game. You don't want to get anyone else hurt.
And they didn't get anybody else hurt, and they put 21 more points up on the board, and 59 through 3 quarters. A 59-6 lead for Oklahoma as we head to the 4th quarter. Landry Jones, a 5-touchdown pass, 400-plus yard night. And Dominique Whaley with 2 more touchdowns. You're watching OU College Football, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Welcome back to 4th quarter action here at Memorial Stadium. Oklahoma running away with this one, 59-6 over Ball State, and it looks like the starting unit probably going to sit down. Some new guys coming onto the field. Gabe Eichert, though, I got to bring up this kid, moved over to center, replacing Ben Hayburn tonight, and he has just done a phenomenal job. And tonight, it looks like Drew Allen's going to get his go at taking some of these snaps. And we'll see, but Ben Hayburn has been talking to Gabe Eichert on the sideline, and you can see he's not really telling him what to do so much as just encouraging him. I have to say, Gabe Eichert, a very smart guy. Coach went on and on about how bright he is and how quickly he'd pick up the system, and he's really done a great job tonight. The
converted tight end, he just ate his way into being an offensive lineman, right?
I tell you what, now he's another super kid. He's a 4.3 student out of McGinnis High School in Oklahoma City. Came in as a tight end.
Here's Drew Allen into the game to start the 4th quarter. The sophomore from San Antonio, Texas. Trent Rattery in the flat makes the catch. The senior from Weatherford, Texas.
What you don't want to have happen, and there's Landry Jones, pretty good numbers at 425 and 5-to-1 ratio, TDs to interception. But you want to be out there on the field with some good players. Coach, leave some of the good guys in.
Allen has 2 receivers to the right. And the handoff to Williams, and he can't get away. And brought down by Andrew Putoff, the defensive left end for the Cardinals. And a 4th down. And Honeycutt will come in the game. Hit from 44 as he banked it in off the inside of the left upright. Missed from 30.
All right, here's my guess, Chuck. If he makes this, he's the kicker next weekend. If he misses this, he's the long field goal kicker. And Jimmy Stevens is back in, assuming the quad is healthy enough. It's a big kick for him, I really think.
And the kick on the way. And he got it. 40-yarder. And as you talked about earlier, Dean, Oklahoma really hasn't had the need for a long field goal kicker, but it's nice to know that that can be in your arsenal as you get into the teeth of Big 12 play, and it's not going to be as easy to score as it has been tonight, as the Sooners have now upped their lead to 62-6.
One thing that he does really well, and I saw that it was a goal of his and his father, who's an attorney down in Dallas and is involved in his son, I guess, his kicking camps in the summer. He said that the first priority was to get the ball high. He didn't want to ever have any kicks blocked, and that's a good thing. You know, there are some kickers who are just out to, I mean, that they want to have a shot at a 50-yard field goal and aren't as concerned about it not being blocked. His will not be blocked.
2 out of 3 on field goals tonight, and 4 out of 5 for the season. And really, the last 2 quarters plus have just been exceptional. The forward scoring drive, the Sooners not known for holding on to the football very long before scoring. Twice tonight now have held it longer than 4 minutes. That time 12 plays and 63 yards. The only other time before tonight, Dean, they had a drive longer than 4 minutes was that first drive of the Florida State game when they took it right down the field and scored. But other than that, it's been quick striking, and we've seen that quite a bit tonight as well. The O'Hara kickoff. Orsman will return this from the 9. And will try to swing it out wide. Gets out and run out of bounds at the 22-yard line by Julian Wilson. Redshirt freshman out of Moore.
There's a sign at the inconsistency with the kicks, though. There's no wind to speak of, which is a minor miracle for us golfers here in the state of Oklahoma. But that one was what, at the, what'd you say, 10, 12-yard line, and a couple of the others were 6, 8 yards deep.
So here's where Ball State will begin. At the 22. In it early, and then run over by an 18-wheeler that is the Oklahoma Sooners. They'll run up the middle, only get them a couple. You know, Dean, you look at Oklahoma, and I think certainly as this game has gone on, the defense has picked up the slack. And I think when talking about the national championship picture, that defense is just going to be the most important aspect, because it seems like everybody can run a spread and everybody can gain yards and points and whatever. But tell me who's going to stop anyone. And I think you can get a better idea who's going to win the national championship. And Oklahoma clearly has that capability.
Well, there are certainly 3 elite teams that we know of in Oklahoma, Alabama, LSU. Oklahoma State is very good. We don't know how good. There are a few others. Boise's a real good team. I go back, though, to saying that the thing that Oklahoma might have over the rest of them is that they have a quarterback and the quality receivers that can be successful in the intermediate passing game. A lot of the other teams, there are so many dinks and dunks that that's one advantage Oklahoma has.
Yeah, Oklahoma certainly willing to throw those deep dig routes. And,
right.
Obviously, Jones has the arm to get it down the field and has receivers with the ability to run underneath it. But college football has just become such an offensive game. Tell me who's going to stop somebody like that. As Devontre Hurst right there to make the tackle and looking for the football against the Ball State wide receiver Toriel Gibson. Short of the first down, it'll be 4th down. But that's the type of coverage that is winning football all the way around.
Hurst, I was just reminded, we haven't heard his name very much. They go away from him a lot. Now, Fleming is gone. Looking into next week, you've got to be concerned. Colvin, number 14, this very good, outstanding safety from Owasso, out. He didn't play. Fleming, the cornerback, out, hurt. There's several people now that you don't know their status for next week, but that kid right there can play corner.
Great kick by Cavanda. And here is the run back, Kenny Stills. Thought about taking it upfield, then decided to step out of bounds. 70-yard kick by Cavanda. Oklahoma 62-6, 3 minutes into the 4th quarter. .57 to play in the 4th quarter. 11 minutes and 57 seconds away from Oklahoma's 39th straight win at home. The 5th longest streak in NCAA history since World War II. Drew Allen in the game at quarterback. Brandon Williams at running back, spinning and brought down at the 31-yard line. And let's bring Roy Williams into the discussion. Roy, we were talking upstairs about the teams that probably have the best chances to win the national championship. And I look at Oklahoma's chances as being real because of their ability to make plays on defense that turn games around. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts on, them being able to contend for a national championship is, I mean, the defense, they look slow at times, but I mean, they're a very talented team, as well as the offense. Landry Jones he's a great captain, and he's a great leader of this ball club, and Ryan Broyles is a great addition, and Dominic Whaley. I mean, they have great weapons, and I really honestly feel that, I mean, they can contend with anybody, and I can't wait to next week's game.
I think a lot of people can't wait for next week.
Well, I think that defensively, you have the Alabamas and Oklahomas and LSUs, and there are some others out there that have the lockdown corners. And there's a ball a little high, but that the lockdown corners allow you to do so many things. They put so much pressure on that quarterback and take away some of the easy throws. You got to have those. You got to have guys who can rush off the edge. You got to have 2 corners.
Jazz Reynolds couldn't quite get that one. Drew Allen's pass a little high, 4th down. Tressway, his 2nd punt of the night. Jamil Smith back deep for Ball State. And here is the punt. That is more Tressway-like, as Smith will let it bounce. And a beautiful side bounce and down around the 5-yard line. Let's go downstairs to Kelly Kroll.
Well, you guys, speaking of national championship hopes, and of course Stoops says he does bring up national title teams, specifically the 2000 team that Roy Williams knows so much about. And he brings them up and talks to his group about how the best teams get better each week. And he even compared them, he says, almost like robots. Every week they come out and they do the same thing over and over and over again. But that's in a complimentary way, he says, because they learn and they move forward from their mistakes every week. It's a long road, but the best teams get better every week.
And this has been a better week for Oklahoma, as they're about to run their record to 4-0. Edwards on the carry, and maybe a yard out to around the 8-yard line. Ball State just 165 yards. New quarterback in the game for Ball State, Kelly Page, a junior out of Sunnyvale, Texas. Keith Wenning's night is over after 12 of 31 for just 94 yards, and intercepted 3 times in the second quarter by Tony Jefferson.
Man, and he came in with 7 touches and no interceptions.
And here's a give and a big one up the middle. One of the better plays of the night for Ball State. Edwards brought down by Sam Proctor at the 24-yard line. A gain of 15 on the play and a first down.
That's a great open field tackle.
Sam Proctor getting the start tonight at safety with Aaron Colvin forced to sit out. Page has to pull it down and will throw out to the left, and that's incomplete, intended for Snead. A high, hard one, high and inside.
It's going to be interesting to see how Oklahoma closes here defensively, because too many times Brent Venables has had a team play really well but not finish games. And I think after what happened against Missouri, they've certainly pounded it in their heads how important it is to finish. We'll see if they can do that, because there are tons of reserves on the field. There's Torier Peterson, I should say, 94.
Second down and 10. And the handoff to Edwards, and nowhere to run, as Oklahoma's defense able to pick up the pace. Jaden Bird on the tackle. And Roy, just talk about, for these guys, these second teamers getting a chance to play, it's a rout, the game is over, but they have to keep up the intensity, because this is the time that they are going to play. They're not going to get that many chances when they get in the Big 12 play.
No, they're not. I mean, these are the times when you need to showcase your talents and show why you're the second team guy, and you're the next guy. If somebody goes down as a first stringer, you can step in and you can play. You know, I still see Tony Jefferson in there, but these DBs and these linebackers that are in right now, they need to, you know what I'm saying, just go out there and have fun. Don't come out too excited. Just come out here and play something that you've been doing your whole life.
Incomplete pass in and out of the hands of Jamil Smith, but a flag thrown. And here is Dan Romeo.
Holding defense on an eligible receiver, number 55, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Jaden Bird called for that. And Ball State will get its first down.
Venables saying, Jaden, we just put you out there, man. Come on.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, when you go in there, and it's like when you go in the film room and you're watching film, it's like, okay, the first team did their job. Now it's on the second team, and you're watching yourself, and you're just like, man, I don't want to be that guy that gives up a big play, you know?
Page looking left, and over the head of Connor Ryan, intended receiver. Javon Harris with the coverage for Oklahoma. And it will be second down and 10. Sooners over 60 for the first time since the 2009 season, when they beat Texas A&M 65-10, 62-6 their lead. Of course, this was a 10-6 game a long time ago.
Texas A&M needs to find 2-quarter games, don't they? My goodness, they've been a good first half.
Yes, if football was 30 minutes, there's no way the Aggies would be ones with 2 losses right now. It's rather stunning, and today maybe even more stunning than last week.
Yeah.
High expectations for them coming into the season. You know, a lot of people were looking to that game with OU at the beginning of November is maybe the one that would be the one that decided the Big 12 championship. We may be headed in a different direction right now, Roy.
Yeah, I honestly feel bad for them. I mean, because they played out of sight the first 2 quarters, but it's a 4-quarter game, and then just it's sad to see a team give up a lead like that.
Hand off to Edwards, nowhere to go. Jaden Bird again, first on the scene.
I think what we saw in the Oklahoma State win over Texas A&M was reminiscent about what Oklahoma has done. And there you see the total yards. Wow, 618 to 189. But the up-tempo offense that Oklahoma has run for years, they just wear defenses out. And by this time of the game, you know, it's a track meet. Oklahoma State did that to Texas A&M last week.
Oklahoma with that 600-plus yard night came into the game 11th in the nation in total offense at just under 522 a game. So Oklahoma will take a timeout. 7:36 to play. Bob Stoops will talk to his young guys in a 62-6 Oklahoma lead. Here's the BMW Ultimate Drive tonight, and it didn't take long. 1 play and 1 minute after Landry Jones hit Ryan Broyles. Jones to Jazz Reynolds, 56 yards, and made it 52-6. All alone down the right sideline, and easy as you please for Reynolds, who had a big night last week against Missouri. 5 catches for 93 yards and making himself more than just a third option. He's making himself a third weapon for Oklahoma's passing game.
He made a couple of really nice catches. Trey Franks is out. Don't know when he'll be back, so 16 is needed.
So Ball State will punt. Cavanda has been busy. Fair catch, Kenny Stills makes at the 14-yard line with 7.5 minutes to play, and the Sooners on their way to 4-0 and to their 39th straight win at home and 75-2 at home since Bob Stoops became the coach at Oklahoma in 1999.
That's illegal. give him a ticket. Allen getting another pop. It'll be interesting to see if Blake Bell gets a shot. Kid out of Wichita. These quarterbacks, Blake Bell is a tremendous athlete. This kid is 6'6". That was his weight early. He tells me now he weighs like 249. He has the body fat of a tire iron. It's the same as Drew Allen, who's in there now. These kids today are amazingly big.
Sweep to Roy Finch, and he gets about a yard. And you know, you look at the Oklahoma quarterbacks in the Stoops era. Well, Jason White was a big guy. Sam Bradford was a big guy. He's even filled out more than now that he's moved on. But you look at the size of Landry Jones. Nate Hibble was a big guy. And you look at the 2 young backups here in Allen and Bell, and they're all cut out of the same mold.
They've got a system.
Yeah.
And it's worked.
We're breeding quarterbacks here.
A couple of Heisman's won. Maybe another one on the way. 2nd down and 9. Allen in the flat. And Jazz Reynolds stuck at the 19-yard line. Brian Jones on the tackle.
That's one thing that Oklahoma receivers do good. They block downfield for each other.
Well, you have to do that when you're going to have that little bubble screen game, aren't you? Little hitches.
Yeah, and if you're going to play for Jay Norvell, I don't care what kind of offense you have. He requires you to be competitive around every football and to block on the perimeter.
Long throw by Allen out to the right. It's caught by Reynolds, and looks like it's just shy of the 1st down, but that shows you some of the arm strength that Drew Allen has from the right, the left hash mark all the way to the right sideline.
He can throw it. He's very much improved. You know, Landry Jones is a guy that's pegged to be high or mid 1st round, and it would really take something kind of crazy for you to think that he wasn't going to come back. He's only a junior. And so Drew Allen's a guy waiting in the wings. 10 there is going to battling Blake Bell. They've got a kid from Texas coming in. Kendall Thompson's here, so it's going to be a battle, but this kid's really improved.
Oh, there's a nice move by Jamil Smith down the left sideline and all the way out to midfield.
It's great.
And Javon Harris on the tackle for OU, but first time tonight that Ball State's really been able to break anything in the return game. That a nice return by Jamil Smith. 64-yard punt, 30 on the return. And Ball State will start at the Cardinal 49-yard line with 5:31 to play.
It looked like the punt. I mean, the punt team just. I mean, the punter just outkicked the coverage, and you know, just. I mean, it was a great cutback and it was a great run.
Kelly Page, the quarterback for Ball State. And Donegan on the carry, and Travis Lewis playing deep into the fourth quarter. And as you said, Dean, with him missing so much time in the preseason, he wants time on the field. He's getting it here midway through the fourth quarter in a 62-6 game.
Well, you wouldn't think a guy who's been in a program that long and you know, who has played a few games, but anyone who's played, Roy can tell you, you get a half step out of position, and it's a touchdown against good teams.
That is very true. I mean, you cannot.
Page out to the right and incomplete. Intended for Gibson. Harris on the coverage for OU.
Ibeloy.
3rd down to 9. Nice job, Ibeloy, getting up into Kelly Page's face.
I'm going to win a bet. I had a bet with Al Eschbach that Brandon Williams would play and that Blake Bell would play. He told me I was nuts.
Now, he's only throwing with his helmet off, though, as Page throws and caught by Tomlinson, and Ibeloy will not let him get away as he's down the 46-yard line. That's a good tackle in the open field.
Yes, it was. That's Oklahoma football right there.
Oh, Megan Hurst, excuse me, rather than Ibeloy on the tackle. But that's a terrific open field tackle right there.
You know, we were talking about the great defenses. You got to have those press corners, but you also have to have guys in the secondary who can tackle in space. Roy Williams never missed a guy.
No,
and I mean never.
Yes, I did. Stop that. Yes, I did.
I don't remember.
I missed a few tackles, but I never like to get cussed out by Mike Stoops. So.
And the rugby kick rolling past Stills and into the end zone. Oklahoma will take over, and it's 20-yard line with 4 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter as the Sooners well on their way to 4-0, up 62-6. Ford. Oklahoma Sooner football is brought to you by Ford. There's a reason why Ford is the best in Oklahoma. Stop by your Ford dealer and drive one. By Oklahoma Natural Gas. Get a $30 rebate for having your natural gas heating system checked. Go to oklahomanaturalgas.com/rebates. By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. By Harvest Bank, the perfect bank for your changing world. And by ONE-O, the one in energy. Final 4 minutes and 3 seconds. And here comes Blake Bell onto the field, the redshirt freshman from Wichita, Kansas.
He's more of a guy that is a run-pass threat. Oklahoma has been a pass-first, pass-second school for several years.
At least for their quarterbacks, but here comes Bell. He'll tuck it under and cut to his right and have a first down out at the 30-yard line. Now, the one thing we've noticed about Oklahoma the last few years, though, for all the great passing and Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, it's a very balanced offense. Coming into the game, there were 5 more rushes than passes through the first 3 games. 5 more passes than rushes, I should say, by Oklahoma. So Bob Stoops is committed to balanced offense.
Well, you have to be, because if you start playing the big teams we've been talking about, you cannot be one-dimensional.
Here is Bell's throw, and that is caught. Nice catch by Camille Jackson at the sideline, the freshman out of Arlington. And again, that throw from the far hash mark all the way to the sideline.
Very good throw, and they're high on this Camille Jackson kid.
Drew Allen did it on the last series. Bell does it here, and he bootlegs it to the left, and he'll tuck it under and run again and get pushed out of bounds up at the 46-yard line. And there is that different dimension from Blake Bell.
He's saying this isn't so hard.
I could do this all the time, right?
That was an impressive throw, though, a moment ago. Because when he came in, he did not have a natural throwing motion.
Hard work by him, hard work by the coaches to get him to that point. Here's a handoff. And Brandon Williams up to the 49-yard line. Tony Martin on the tackle for Ball State. Under 3 minutes to play. 5 touchdown passes by Landry Jones tonight. 425 yards, and Bell rolling to his right and throwing high and incomplete. And intended for Camille Jackson.
Camille Jackson's glad that ball was high. I think Nolan Ryan had nothing on that.
656 total yards by the Sooners tonight, holding Ball State, which had come in averaging a little over 388 yards a game, to just 197. And really got them, really got them out of kilter in the second quarter with the 3 consecutive Tony Jefferson interceptions. 2:41 to play. Bell looked right. Now we'll pull it down to the left and try to tightrope the sideline and out of bounds on the 48-yard line. And that probably will go into the books as a loss. Although they gave him the play. Okay, so they got him across the midfield.
We're going to see this play again, and I'll show you something that Bell will need to do. Stop it right there. Just hold it right there. See, this line is doing a perfect job. He doesn't need to go anywhere. Just stand tall. You're 6'6". Look down the field, find your guy, and throw it. But his heart's racing fast. You know, he's not been there. Jumps out, and now they punt it.
The Tressway kick. Smith, fair catch. And he got run into as the ball will bounce in the end zone. That will cost Oklahoma 15 yards.
This is the time of game where Brent Venables he's prone to blow a gasket, only because there have been a lot of teams score on a second unit with an 80-yard play with 6 seconds to go.
Opportunity to make a catch. Kicking team, 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
And that's James Winchester, the deep snapper, getting downfield and committing the foul.
Does. Yeah, he is terrific at that. Not a penalty necessarily, but at perfect snaps and getting down quick. He is a sprinter.
Oklahoma now 4-0, and next week we'll take it down to the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. A game unlike any other. Oklahoma and Texas, and we expected Oklahoma to be undefeated at this point. I don't know that a whole lot of people expected Texas to be undefeated, but you look at that schedule, Dean, and you certainly look at November and into early December, those final 4 games, although, you know, who knows what the mindset of the Aggies will be by the time the Sooners get to that game. And Baylor looks like they're a much improved team with Robert Griffin at quarterback, and obviously Bedlam is always Bedlam, and it may be taking on a whole new meaning this year.
Well, I think that with all due respect to Kansas and Tech, I think if Oklahoma gets out of the Texas game with a win, I think you're looking at moving on down to that last stretch, and that's not an easy stretch.
Not an easy stretch at all. And again, A&M for the second consecutive week blowing a huge lead. 35-17 today down at Cowboy Stadium in Arlington against Arkansas, after blowing the 20-3 lead last week against Oklahoma State at Kyle Field. What will their mindset be by the time they get to November 5th? And you see Bob Stoops.
So Jim Ross wanted to put somebody in a Granby role. Get him. He's looking for Haystack Calhoun.
And Roy Williams was close by there. You had a chance to see that too. And this one much less stressful than last week, and especially over the last 3 quarters, and a lot of guys getting a chance to play that ordinarily wouldn't get a chance to play. And of for the most part, Dean really have acquitted themselves quite well.
Well, they responded to several early miscues, and the offense was on target most all the night. Jones, I think, had the pick. Otherwise, they were crisp the entire evening.
Yeah, really, Jones had one bad throw, that interception that got away from him. As Page will take it out of the pocket, and he will get to the ground.
You think his coach told him to stay in bounds?
I think he did, but I don't think he knew whether to go right, go left, or how he was going to get to the ground.
No, I think he knew that his coach said stay in bounds.
A minute 40 to play.
And if his coach wasn't, Bob Stoops on this side, when he was running over to him, said stay in bounds.
Stay in bounds. Just about to end it. Ball State, as Dean mentioned, 3-1. Had the big win against Army last week. They didn't allow a passing yard last week against Army, which, of course, runs the triple option and really doesn't throw all that much. But it's been a bit of a surprising start for them. And one, again, after the coaching change, is they've had a good feeling about themselves. The loss they had was to South Florida. In the second week, they lost 37-7. But now they'll go back into Mid-American Conference play. Try to do some damage there.
Just over the 200-yard mark on this drive.
2:07 for the game. And Page on the handoff to Donegan. And there is Jaden Bird, first on the scene. Kellen Jones, the true freshman from Houston, also in on the tackle for Oklahoma. And they'll probably have to snap it one more time, and then everybody can make their way toward I-35.
Make their way to I-35. They'll be making their way come Friday for sure.
Yes, indeed. Truly a tradition unlike any other. One of the great scenes in all of sports, not just college football. That pass caught by Orrs, but the final play of the game as the clock runs down. Oklahoma now 4-0, 39 straight wins at home. A 62-6 pummeling of the Ball State Cardinals.
Very solid overall performance by the Sooners. They're concerned about a couple of injuries. Otherwise, solid on both sides of the football, and Landry Jones puts up big numbers.
5 touchdown passes, 425 yards. Ryan Broyles becomes the all-time Big 12 leading receiver as the Sooners get it done tonight in the most convincing of fashions. 62-6. And we're back with some more post-game comments and highlights straight ahead from Owen Field in Norman as Oklahoma stays #1 convincingly. Chuck Cooperstein and Dean Blevins back with you in Norman, Oklahoma. Kelly Cole on the sidelines. Oklahoma defeats Ball State tonight 62-6. And let's take a look at some of the highlights from this game. Back to the first half. An inauspicious start to the game for OU. Ball State recovers the onside kick, but once the Sooners got the ball, Dean, big time passing. Landry Jones, that one to James Hanna.
Sooners didn't punt until the fourth quarter.
Defense, the deflection by Alexander, the interception by Jones that leads to the Stills touchdown. And then this Tony Jefferson circus catch along the sideline for his second interception led to the Roy Finch run down the sideline. And then Dominic Whaley, his second touchdown of the night.
Big game, second game, over 100 yards, and he got his first start, and it showed why.
Tony Jefferson's third interception leading to Ryan Broyles. Touchdown, another 100-yard night for Ryan Broyles. His 15th in the last 20 games. And here's how he got himself in the end zone early in the third quarter on a deep crossing route.
One of the prettier plays of the night, perfect execution. The offensive line was splendid all evening.
And then Jazz Reynolds down the sideline. Uncontested for the score. 141 yards for Reynolds tonight on 5 catches, and then Gabe Lynn unloading out of the flat.
Ouch.
So the offense got the big plays. Defense got big plays too, and when you do that, that's how you win 62-6.
The big uglies haven't gotten the credit they deserve tonight. The offensive line, with knowing coming in that you've lost Ben Haburn, the best center in the conference, one of the best in the country. You bring in Eichert. You have to bring in someone new at guard, which was Stephen Good. Looked like they didn't miss a beat.
Indeed, OU has allowed only 1 sack in the first
year.
4 games of the season, and that is tied for the NCAA lead. But when you consider teams like Air Force and Michigan, the types of offenses that they're running, really not a passing offense where you're needing time to throw the football down the field.
And
really,
rushing,
OU and Boise are the only ones that are really like that.
Pardon me. But running the football helps out a great deal because of your play action. So we get back to that point that they have historically, under Stoops, been successful when they've been able to be balanced.
Once again, our final score tonight from Owen Field in Norman, Oklahoma. The Oklahoma Sooners 62, the Ball State Cardinals 6. For my broadcast partners, Dean Blevins, Kelly Kroll, and Roy L. Williams, our producer, Wade Robinson, director, Eric Dade. This is Chuck Cooperstein saying good night from Norman, Oklahoma.